Yeah, it's playing.
Yeah.
What's going on, guys? We're here today for a bit of a breathing back into life of a game that's been played on Black Dragon Gaming for about a year. No time like the present to kick it in the butt and bring it back to life and stuff, so we're here today for Unholy Caliber, The Resurrection. Yes, it's based on the N64 game we're here to use stolen. Yes, it's in the Pathfinder playtest. Yes, you guys all have one hero point without in-character reflections, because that's literally how the playtest works now. You don't have to work for it. Congratulations. So since this is a playtest, and I've read the book kinda, but I learned by doing. I'm gonna tell you guys, like I tell the Doomsday Dawn crew, you get a hero point if you help me with rules and stuff. You get a hero point if, like, don't play it twice, do the other one. You get a hero point, like, for helping combat move faster, things of that nature. And, like, if we screw something up, chew me out in the comments. We'll get there. We're all just kind of learning as we go. That might be a little bit. So we're going to pick the game up. This is kind of like our session 0.75. We're going to pick it up pretty much right where it left off. With Colin, who, by the by, is those three dudes who aren't the dude at the very top of your screen here, or, you know, me. That's Kanan, Adam, and Colin in order from the Inn of Planar Crossroads. Are, like, brother-in-arms in the Multiverse channel, and, like, we couldn't exist without them. They edit my stuff, they deal with me being terrible on their streams, among other things, and gentlemen, as always, it's a pleasure, it's an honor. Have your friendship and your support and stuff like that. Also, Donald's here. Joe will be here in a minute. You see, like, right there, that box. We'll fill that box with Joe when he gets here. But he's at work right now, so he's coming. So
A box of Joe.
A box of Joe, like this mug of Joe. Right
From
here.
the coffee shops, you know?
I don't know, because your camera's not on.
It is on, but I can't broadcast to both
Well,
OBS
it's on.
and IE. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Well,
Anywho, we're gonna pick it up with Xandu. Pretty much exactly from where we left off in Lordly Caliber, which you guys can find on YouTube. And by the by, Black Dragon Gaming is your #1 source for Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition content over on YouTube if you're just hanging out on Twitch with us right now. Colin, about a week passes? Yeah, about a week passes since the events of the last episode of Lord the Caliber in 1st edition. Kazuha pretty much ignores you for the most part, and I know a lot of these names...
Well, that's not fair to him.
I'm getting there, Adam! I'm getting there! And a lot of these names are going to mean nothing so far to a lot of people watching. You can check out Lord the Caliber over on our YouTube channel again, and these guys show up around like session 8. But anywho, Kazuha's become pretty enamored with his friends that he's found here in the halls of the dead. You see Desna sitting on, like, the throne at the head of the hall, and also, like, not long after everything kind of dies down, Asmodeus joins her. It's real weird. But he's there. No one says anything about it. It just seems to be kind of normal. Kazuha and his friends, who've all burst forth in, like, holy, flaming, avenging angel-style wings, a la Saren Ray, are soon sent to go on a mission, and they do not return. Francis, who has, like, awoken in little Oleg for a couple days. For a couple days, he rants and raves about how his whole family's in danger, and his induction into the Order of the Leaf has basically, like, invasion of the body snatchers him. His spirit was imprisoned inside a Leshy, while, like, Leshy-esque spirits could form, like, a more sentient, smarter, bigger, stronger, with druid levels thing that eventually would just replace all of humanoid kind. When the Francis you knew died in the Verduran Forest, Oleg, Francis, awoke, and it lasts for about a couple days before the poor little dude's little Leshy mind can't quite, like, keep up, and he slowly loses it. But in those couple days, he, like, pads down his gut area of his little Leshy body, so he's a little bigger. He gets, like, he, like, breaks a chair leg to form a quarterstaff, which, like, rests awkwardly against this paunch. He eventually loses it and just goes back to little Leshy, but that much remains. You have about a week. What would you like to do?
Nothing. Apparently, I'm a rutabaga again.
You are. This is literally just Xander for now. We'll get the rest of you in a second. We're gonna bring everybody in kind of one-on-one, one by one. Also,
Xandu will wait for a moment when Asmodeus is not present.
Okay.
And he would like to talk to Desna and ask her if sort of the last thing he saw while he was alive. This figure in green was someone that Emmy would be safe with or not.
Okay. Asmodeus doesn't ever really leave. There's just there's two chairs at the head of the hall, and they sit there, and a lot of people come and go throughout the week, and they definitely, as they walk in front of Desna and Asmodeus, they definitely refer to them by very different names. A couple of true dragons make their way through the hall, and they refer to Desna as Apsu. Asmodeus still as Asmodeus. A couple of paladin-y types start throwing Regathiel's name, Iomede's name, etc., around. A lot of old Ulthan gods with whom you're only vaguely familiar with, because Joe's not here to help me out with that right now. Things of that nature. During this week, I guess also we should explain to the viewers that Xandu in Pathfinder 1st Edition, spoilers for the original Lordly Caliber, was a thought-form projection of a little kitsune girl overcome with the horrors of war. And at the end of it all, he regained his, he gained his own humanity, a soul that he never really had. Xandu, can do this and put, I don't know why Hangouts can't see it, but y'all on Twitch, y'all can see it. Xandu can, put his hand, to point on his palm and touch it, and he can feel that there's a palm there. But in the back of his mind, where there used to be that, I must protect Emmy, there's, it feels like your hand is supposed to go through your hand because you aren't real. It's definitely a bit of an ordeal for Xandu to come to grips with.
Xandu is probably doing a lot of stretching stuff because his body, because there's no aging effects anymore, is also much more sprightly. Yeah,
Xandu also has sprouted very big Desnan wings, and for this game, for this Pathfinder playtest game, we're borrowing the Pathfinder 1st Edition half-celestial template for all the characters. We're gonna the natural armor buff only hits their armor, it doesn't hit their tag. There's no spell resistance that I'm aware of. They don't have the spell resistance. We're working on the Smite Evil now. Spells may be redundant or not quite work. And if it's bad, if it's unbalanced, they'll just have fly speeds and it will be removed. But it's super flavorful for how Lordly Caliber ended. Now you know. That's why it says Pathfinder 2e with 1e templates.
Alright.
I've talked too much. Xandu, what you got?
If Asmodeus is not leaving, Xandu will still approach Desna.
Okay.
And oh gosh. How does he even refer to a god when he doesn't even know who he is? He's a person now. Alright.
What's up?
How about hello, Asmodeus, Desna? A simple icebreaker will do.
So how's the weather? Cold, snowy. Everyone is dead.
Oh gosh. So he will approach Desna, bow, and say, Your Holiness, before I came here, the last thing I remember seeing was this strange figure in green, and he took my daughter somewhere, and I just want to know that she's going to be safe.
Okay. As you approach the not really a dais, but the two seats that they sit on are raised off the main floor. Asmodeus doesn't so much as look at you, he just stares forward. Desna, on the other hand, greets you warmly and just... She is safe now, child. That's all you need to know. Let me get a...
Thank you.
What about that map I saw earlier?
That map is still there. It's... You guys all have it as a handout. There's several places on the board that have been marked with a couple of swords all across Avestan, and there's one in like Central Casmeron and one in Garund as well. Can I get a quick perception from Xandu? I guess it has to be perception. Yeah, because there's no sense motive. It's got to be perception.
Yeah. Okie dokie. Just gotta make sure I got the right PDF open here.
Yeah. Somehow he's gonna roll in the 30s. Hey, this isn't 1E. You can't do that now. Whoa.
Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
Not yet.
It is a shame that magic items and then skill focus cannot be used in 2E to make perceptions over 30 easily by level 10.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely, like, when I decided I was going to play a half-elf for Octarian, it was because skill focus I thought would be a thing. But no. So
that's 21.
With a 21. Desna doesn't say it outright, but it's implied, like, in, like, the motherly way she looks at you, and she looks, like, genuinely sad for you. That, like, if Emmy were to figure out that you were now real, it would probably do a lot of, like, psychological harm to her. She's just a kid. She's, like, 14 years old, and she created you because she needed someone to protect her, and then you, like, died, and then were reborn with a soul as an actual, like, humanoid that she could reach out and touch, and it literally doesn't take 100% of her, like, power in such a way that she falls into a coma to maintain the fact that you exist. You definitely could, if you wanted to, reach out to her. You're in, like, the halls of the dead, where there are gods that like you. A lot of powerful magic is at your disposal. There's none stopping you, but it may not end well.
So it's it's more so that it'd be like, oh, well, he wasn't real, but then he died, and now he is real, and it's just complicated bullshit.
Hey, now, we're streaming. Poo-poo.
Oh, sorry.
But, yeah, basically. It's stuff that she couldn't comprehend it when she was a child, and she manifested you with her, like, her budding sorcerer powers that exploded way too hard once and made a thought-form creature. And then she sees that thing that's supposed to be a thought-form creature that in the back of her head she knows she made, but she didn't make, and it would just be really bad for her. It's a lot of emotional scarring in a child.
So, maybe when she's older, if that ever happens.
That's fair. Is there anything else you wanted to do throughout the week?
Xandu will just sort of look over the map and try to gather information about, you know, what sort of tactics are being used, who's doing what the map is specifically for.
Sure.
And possibly figure out why the heck Asmodeus is there.
Okay, let me get, before I bring in somebody else and give you your backstory reward, or rather, errata your backstory reward for the playtest. Let me give me a religion check and a society check, I guess, for a map. Unless you have, like, lore maps. If you're Tingle from The Legend of Zelda, do that.
I don't have lore maps, but I do have lore warfare.
Oh, fair. Yeah, that's great. That works. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Lore checks in the playtest, they're good. Oh, also, you guys, if you wouldn't mind, when you have stuff that's relevant, speak in meta so we can all learn together, and I'm sure there's going to be people watching this that want to understand, because we're beginning play at level 10. How things function, how they work, how you build your characters, etc., etc. Anyway, let me get those checks, and we'll bring in a friend for you.
Do you still want the religion as well? Because my religion's better.
Religion for what's up with gods, warfare for what's up with map.
Alright. So this is the warfare first.
Sure.
It's... Okay.
Boom.
Not bad.
That's a respectable roll, that 28. That's not bad.
Yeah. Then...
The 16 religion. That's good. Okay. Before I go on, Xandu remains an occult-blooded sorcerer, or an aberrant-blooded sorcerer. Is that right?
Yeah. He is an aberrant instead of a bloodline, instead of a psychic bloodline.
So we're gonna see that occult spell list, and we've got that fighter archetype too. I understand.
Yes.
Fair enough.
It'll be fun.
It will. All right, the warfare check. The map clearly has several points of interest on the map, like to everyone, everywhere, for the most part marked. You can definitely tell in the Holy Chelish Empire, yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with Cheliax in this game. We'll get to that. But Igorian is clearly marked, as is Opara, as is Casimir, as is the Verduran Forest in Taldor. Sothis is marked as well, Osirian's capital. You're not quite sure why. Based on, like, the fact that you were there for all of this. The Igorian is obviously the capital of the Holy Chelish Empire. Yeah, I know, right? There's things happening. You knew there was stuff going on in Casimir. You went there with your friends who are now dead or moved on, and you were in the Verduran Forest is where you died. Opara is obviously the capital of the biggest land empire on Galarion. We're playing in a world where the Taldan Empire never fell. Rebelled, and it became its own like client state that has now rebelled against Taldor. What was your question?
Do a lot of these places seem to have been places that Xandu has been over the past first half of Lordly Caliber, first session, first season?
They definitely do. Corvosa in Verzia is marked as well, as is somewhere in the Forest of Ustalav. Just up, this just kind of seems like backwater nowhere to you. The Ark of Eredin, which is the Strait of Gibraltar, essentially, between Rahadum and Cheliax, is marked. As is, you can't see it on this map, but far to the east, the Pit of Gormuz, where Rovagug is said to be buried, is also marked. You know also that's where the Cult of the Dawnflower is right now, waiting out the end of the world. God, so much has happened by having Rovagug Fest. For your religion check, it's not the best.
Nope.
The 16's a thing. It's not a critical failure, I'll say that. You
That's
think
good.
that all these gods are bull, convert to somebody else now. It's... The end of the world is taking place on Galarion. You know that for pretty much a fact. According to the Elfin, Ragnarok is taking place. You've seen a lot of, again, true dragons and their servitors move through this place. Refer to Desna as Apsu, which would imply they see her as someone else. Even like Kazaha saw Sarenrae sitting there. So,
do you have any idea who Apsu is, or nah?
Separate religion check. Then I'll bring in someone else, I promise. He's asking. He's real good at one-on-ones. The only one-on-one I ever... No, I jammed 2 one-on-ones. The best one-on-one I ever jammed in my day was for Xandu.
And, would this be something where I could roll a lore Great Old Ones?
No, they're dragons.
Okay, I was wondering about the name Apsu.
They're old. They're great and old, but they're dragons, not
okay. Okay.
Let's see it.
Hopefully this one will be a little bit better.
Already?
Whoop. A little bit better.
The 26, Apsu is the god of good-aligned dragons. People of that particular faith, as it's true with a lot of different faiths throughout Galarion, they believe, and throughout well and truly, especially for Apsu, like the known parts of existence. Galarion and the material plane were created by several different things, and according to the Draconic Pantheon, it was Apsu and his wife, Bahamut, who created the world. They had a son named... Actually, it was Tiamat. It was Tiamat. I'm thinking in 5e. Or in 3.5 rather, because I'm in a 3.5 game and my Apsu worshipping character has to worship Bahamut. I digress. Tiamat and Apsu created the world. Their son Dahak killed Tiamat, and it's been predicted by followers of Apsu that the end of the world will take place, or rather like the end of existence will take place on Galarion in a big climactic battle, Apsu versus Dahak.
Killed is a strong word, but yes.
There's definitely a lot more there.
Xandu is kind of curious as to what happens if he refers to Desna by another good-aligned god's name.
Dude.
He won't. He's just curious. That's all.
I'll quit drumming my thumbs together all over Twitch.
Are you sure? Are you sure you do not want to say anything more about using another name? Maybe you can use your hero point.
Yeah, right now, one thing I should note is hero points work different in the playtest. 1 hero point cheats death. 2 hero points. I think 2 hero points is a bonus to a roll, and 3 hero points is a reroll.
Yeah.
So and you got to earn those hero points by helping me put things together. But I digress. For Xandu's backstory, Boone, we have to errata it a little bit because you had a bunch. You're no longer under a permanent mind blank. However, you have a different identity now. Technically speaking, they were scrying Emmy, who scry you, so they would need to. You have a soul before you did not. So it's a different thing to scry. What else?
Gotcha.
The Pyramid of Power is probably way too good for the playtest, so we're gonna. You don't get that many spell slots. I'm sorry to break your heart.
Wah wah.
Wah wah indeed. What else did we have? Will, did you take a bunch of divination spells? Are those all still on the occult spell list?
There are some that are on the occult spell list, mostly mind reading type stuff.
So it would be bad for you for me to say that divination spells function 100% of the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. So what I'll do is I'll shake it up a little bit. In about a week that passes, you're joined by a familiar face. Half of that familiar face, or rather those 2 familiar faces that would travel together, does not arrive. But towards like the 6th or 7th day, you turn the corner and a little stitched together, as if to not be real, as if a stuffed animal had been given sentience, koala bear turns the corner, and you definitely recognize Arundel's homunculus familiar, Arundel. And it recognizes you, and it's little, like, misshapen, terrible, and they still, in death, remain misshapen and terrible arms, kind of like do this to like reach up to Xandu!
I can't see you though.
And you watch it on YouTube. You'll see it there, and it like jumps, leaps, and bounds over these tables to like almost like tackle you off your feet in an embrace. Just, I missed you! Arundel's dead and I don't know where he is, and it's not cold anymore! Where are the grandpas? I don't understand anything at all! And you feel like this really weird warmth emanate from Arundel's body's the right word for homunculus. Yeah, it definitely has a body. Into your chest. As Arundel's homunculus familiar bonds with you and you gain a familiar.
That's interesting.
It can cast divination once a day, assuming it works the same way. In the playtest, I truly have no idea.
You're cutting out what you're saying.
Bah. It can cast divination, assuming divination works the same way in the playtest, 100% time.
The spell divination, gotcha.
With complete accuracy, like you once used to be able to do. It otherwise functions as a familiar with number of doohickeys equal to your...
Cool.
Greymantle awakens. It kind of feels like... This will make no sense in Pathfinder terms, but it kind of feels like you've woken up on an escalator with no stairs, just moving, like I guess more like a treadmill that moves forward. Several people are all around you. It's like shoulder to shoulder packed.
It's like laying in bed and feeling movement when you're not moving.
Pretty much, except like you yourself are definitely as well moving.
You're lying down at an airport people mover.
Yeah, pretty much. Everything is a like weird grayscale, almost whited out. People around you look confused, some scared, some like glad to be where they are. There's definitely a couple of like bigger men in armor emblazoned with like one dude has a red wing and a bastard sword crossed like this. One has just like a long sword flipped hilt up, and they're happy to be where they are. You've ended up in the River Styx. You're dead. You being a Pharasman cleric, that spoil what you're playing. You know where you are. You know what's happening.
So I have finally made it to the boneyard.
Not quite.
Hmm.
You're definitely on your way.
That was something he was probably just thinking to himself.
Okay.
So he knows how this is supposed to work, so he'll follow the flow. Supposed to go down the river Styx.
Okay. You are definitely able to do so. It's not hard. Like, it'd be harder to resist, because it's pretty shoulder to shoulder. And there's Kane. I can see Kane now. Weird. With all these bodies, like, packed in next to each other, moving forward. Time goes real wibbly-wobbly when you're not on the material plane. You move through everything. And you end up at that pool that sits at the bottom of Pharasma's Spire, where everyone is judged. People kind of like, they get out of the water, but to you it's just kind of like moving to a different weird grayscale treadmill as they begin to go upstairs, and you see what you know to be psychopomps all over the place. Just kind of like watching people, like airport security almost, that kind of thing.
All right. He would not resist. He would nod to the psychopomps respectively.
Okay.
Respectively. Respectively.
A little both.
Little both.
Little both.
Respectfully and respectively.
Okay. They don't really nod back. They see you. They acknowledge you, but they don't, like, not with so much as a nod, just like their eyes wash over you as you begin moving up now what truly more feels like an escalator towards Pharasma. And it isn't long before you see something you shouldn't see in the boneyard. You turn the corner and a solar angel makes its way like above you through the clouds of like the grayscale soon to be afterlife you found yourself in.
His brow would knit a bit, and he would think to himself, curious.
The angel disappears like up in such a way that you lose sight of it, and it isn't long. As you like make your way about halfway-ish in Pharasma's direction, it reappears, coming towards you, flanked by a couple of psychopomps. The crowd is forced to disperse around you until there's about like 20 feet on every side of you, and the solar angel lands in front of you, flanked by these psychopomps. It's carrying a dagger that has what looks like a very, very expensive ruby set in the pommel. That, like, as it like turns it over in its hands, it appears that like sand is trapped in this ruby, and you can almost hear it like clinking against the jewel as it rolls around. It looks at you in all of its like holy grace. You are needed, child. It is not your time yet. Pharasma sends this token. He hands you the dagger, and as he does so, he lets go of the dagger, grasps you by the wrist. The psychopomps are clearly uncomfortable with this. And you find yourself, just like in an instant, the solar angel is gone. You find yourself in this hall. Several people of several different walks of life sit at tables, eating and drinking and more or less being merry. You have everything ceases to be grayscale. You have what you assume is a body again, but you feel like bursting out of your shoulders these wings that match the, I believe, like vibrant crimson of your character's hair, almost like very like Vildius style. The dagger remains to replace whatever weapon you. Well, no, don't replace it. You can have both. It'll be fine. Dual wield cleric. It'll be fine. The dagger remains in your possession, and as you pick it up, you can hear the sand falling down it, and it kind of like in the back of your mind, it feels like a reminder that you have died, almost like your memento mori, if it were. You shouldn't be here. You know you shouldn't be here, but you've been brought here. But you'll be back in the boneyard. Mechanically, it functions as an arcane bond. Wizard equal to your level. Now, tell all the nice people at home what your plan.
Well, Grey Mantle is the name he goes by. He doesn't really have any other name he goes with. He is a full-blooded elf who obviously serves Pharasma. He has her holy symbol on his robes and a holy symbol usually around his neck. Doesn't care if anybody sees it. He displays it proudly. He is mainly wearing a gray robe. It says white a gray robe with red trim. His hair is usually covered by the hood that he almost constantly wears up, and his hair is technically white, though the wings can still be crimson because that's still kind of pretty cool for him. Black or crimson would have worked well for his theme.
Could have sworn you sent me a token with red hair.
No, that's the trimming on his.
Oh, yeah, and it's like where the face part goes. Fair enough.
But aside from that, he mainly just has some plain white robes beneath that gray mantle that he gets his name from.
Okay.
Seems fairly grim-faced. He doesn't grim and stern-faced. He doesn't seem to smile or react too much to those around him, though he does look about a bit to try and get his bearings.
Okay. You can make another perception check if you'd like.
As caught. All right. A 2 plus 17. So, 19.
Fair enough. And mechanically, that's an elf cleric, right?
Mechanically, yes. Elf cleric.
I guess we should also say that Xandu is a human, but that's relevant. And you
mechanically, he is an elf cleric. We can talk about build stuff later if people want us to, I guess.
That'd be sweet. I definitely want to know all about it. So you see, at the head of the room, God, what gods would a Pharasman see? That's the question I hadn't quite answered.
He may see a mix. It may phase in between them, because Pharasma is technically the one he cares about, and she already exists. You've displayed. That's
fair, and she is not. She's true neutral. So, yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me. Sure, you see, like at the head of the room. Really, more so, you see just kind of like a blue orb and a red orb floating above these chairs that as someone approaches them, it takes the form of what you assume is the deity they worship before poofing out and then poofing back into something else later on. Most of the people here have, like you, sprouted these wings, and you assume that a lot of them are just outright angels in their own right, or archons or things of that nature. Like, definitely at the fire, there's a dog laying down, and that dog gets up, and as it does so, it transforms into a hound archon and goes, like, through a gate and whoopsie portals out of here. Xandu Xandu stands out. You show up around the type that Arendelle tackle hugs him.
This is an interesting cacophony of individuals.
A dark-skinned, bald man is suddenly tackled, and his very deadening wings flutter backwards as this... You're a smart guy. As this homunculus just, dives onto him. Xandu, you see Grey Mantle as well. Just kind of appear out of nowhere.
Grey Mantle will bother to make eye contact. He's watching everybody, but he will start walking towards a place that he can observe most everyone in the room and kind of amusedly watch the orbs, thinking to himself, I wonder if those are just divine placeholders. And he would move away, but he would make eye contact with Xandu and nod.
My friend, you are very muted.
Oh, yeah, I am muted. I really want a reason to read Grey Mantle's mind, but Xandu doesn't really have one.
Okay, I can work with that. Arendelle, like, with its arm that ends in a teddy bear style nub, just kind of like pokes you on the chin and pokes a little too hard, and your chin kind of like around, or your cheek rather, and it kind of like just pushes awkwardly, and you just, who is that? I wonder what they are thinking literally right now.
All right then.
Some pigeons show up. I don't
The
know.
metagaming pigeon from Critical Role shows up.
Oh, fair. I guess it's not the biggest problem in the world that we aren't streaming tonight because my internet's being wonky. This Critical Role also is. So I don't win that fight.
All right.
Maybe one day, but not today.
Yeah, I got a mind reading spell, which I suppose Xandu will go up and cast, but I gotta control F to find it real quick.
Yeah.
The exact text.
What's the spell called?
Mind reading.
Mind reading. That's an easy spell to remember. It's for reading minds.
Yeah, I wonder what it does.
Spell descriptions. M. M is for mind reading. Not magic mouth. Also magic mouth, but that's not the one we want right now. We want mind. Here we go.
I found it.
It says you read the target's mind depending on its will save. Once you cast mind reading on a target, you can't target another creature again until the duration ends. Requires a somatic and verbal component. The range is 30 feet, targets one creature, and the duration is a minute.
Alrighty. Oh, so it sounds like Grey Mantle's making a will save. What's the DC, Colin?
Now I gotta flip back over to my other PDF. I believe it should be 25.
Okay.
That is one I can technically make if I roll well enough. But I don't think I do. No, 17. No, 21.
Okay.
So not a critical fail, though.
Success, not a critical success. Or a failure, not a critical failure, excuse me. So Xandu perceives vague surface thoughts from Grey Mantle and finds out whether its intelligence is higher, equal. So the charisma caster figures out if the wisdom caster has a higher intelligence. Basically, is what I'm seeing.
Okay. Yep. What's your intelligence score?
12. On the dot, 12.
Yeah, I'm 10. Xandu would sense that he is 10 tiers higher of intelligence.
Doesn't that actually, like, stun you if he's that much smarter than you?
Wait, what?
Doesn't say anything about that.
Does Grey Mantle have 2 intelligence? Is that what I just heard?
No. Yeah, 22.
Grey Mantle is 10 tier. I said 10 tiers higher. He's 22 and he's 12.
Oh God. Okay, yeah, that
big difference.
You're familiar. You're new familiar. Arendelle has a vague mental connection with you and gets a little bit of this, and just like at the top of its little homunculus voice, just, that elf is much smarter than you are. Uh-oh. I hope they don't notice. I am loud.
My self-esteem!
My self-esteem! Your self-esteem is worse, though, Xandu! My voice is lower now, because it's not Sarah playing this thing. It's me! This is the voice now. Welcome to a new game!
Tommy, at least you are not using many voices for the halfling Mercutio.
He's dead. He died. He's gone.
Dead. I didn't want to put his voices
Van
anymore.
Curtis. He did it. Because he wanted you to go to Casimir. Off my chest.
But isn't Xandu also dead?
Shut up. Not anymore. No, you exist now.
Well, I mean, we're all dead down here.
Xandu is technically dead, but he is not dead at the same time. It gets odds when it comes to physics and rules.
I mean, really, you're more alive now than you've been in a long time.
What are those vague surface thoughts? Like, I get the intelligence thing, but what vague surface thoughts do I get?
Let me see. Did you read it like when he was eye contacting with you?
More so when Arendelle was yelling about what was it? Not the intelligence thing, but
confidence.
Nope. It was before that. Before all of that, it was. Oh, I wonder what he's thinking right now. Dirt.
Okay.
Thank you, Carlos Minz.
The metagaming pigeon.
You would probably sense that right about this moment he's feeling or thinking 5, 6, 7 wings, angelic, 2, 3 red, counting, also looking at your wings, trying to butterfly, Desnan, definitely. He's reasoning and calculating out what faiths might be attached to these different individuals, as well as why they might be here, trying to reason out why they might be here.
So, I suppose Xandu, knowing that he's so much more intelligent than Xandu.
He would also think to himself, no black butterfly wings. Duly noted.
Interesting. But Xandu is approaching, and I guess the spell lasts for a minute, so I get surface thoughts for that long. Oh gosh.
Also, Grey Mantle no.
Probably.
Yeah, because you had to roll save.
Well, does that mean that I know?
You don't know what. Make a check to find out, I will say. I'm not sure how that works in 2nd edition. In 1st edition, it was you knew something had like tried to get in your head, and you may or may not have resisted it.
Okay, so like a perception check?
Or like Arcana, or something of that nature. Perception would work.
I've got occultism.
Oh yeah, that's so much better for the psychic. Yeah, oh yeah, that's the one.
All right, so that's 6, 7.
We'll use the spell DC again.
Spell DC?
So over a 25.
Okay.
17. No. I got another 19.
Okay, definitely you can tell that someone has tried to probe your thoughts, but who, what, when, where, why escapes you. Just like something brushed against the back of your mind.
All right. Well, it's not that hard of a leap with someone of this level of intelligence to think that familiar said, I wonder what he's thinking.
No, fair, yeah.
Yeah. So he would just glance over. He would look over to Xandu, and knowing how long certain spells would last, he would think in his surface thoughts, it is rude, young one, to read thoughts without permission.
It is! We're being bad! We're not nice! Says Arundel looking up at you.
How old is Grey Mantle, by the way? Is he older than Xandu?
Which elf lore is he following? Is he 20?
Oh yeah, he is an elf, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either is fine. Either is fine.
No, either is accurate.
Well, either is accurate.
Well, if you're talking about
you don't know how old he is, so.
True.
You only have surface thoughts, not my birthday was yesterday.
Yeah, true.
I think you need a mind probe spell or one of those divination spells for that purpose.
Or like society, lore elves.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of obscure lore too.
Yeah, it would.
Xandu will approach Grey Mantle and I'm rather sorry, but I couldn't help but to notice you had a better grasp of what's going on here than most, especially for a newcomer.
Perhaps it is my unattached perspective.
Perhaps.
He would kind of gesture towards the lights on the thrones.
I've noticed that people have been referring to the different lights by a variety of different... Asmodeus seems to be the same, name all the way around, but does someone else that says another name, and I'm not really sure to be whoever your god is who you see. So I suppose you would see Pharasma.
You still got the surface thoughts, don't you?
Yep.
He would think if I tell this young one, he may be overwhelmed. Perhaps.
Burn.
You're
Yeah.
I know.
Oh. I do suppose that is a distinct possibility, though. I do take mild offense that you refer to me as young one all the time.
He would look at you, kind of look you up and down again. How old are you?
If I remember right, Zandu just recently hit
A day old because he was
45. Huh?
a day old because he was a psychic thing. Now he's a people. But also
Yeah.
45. Yeah, he no.
35.
Yeah,
it was
he
35.
turned middle aged over the course of the original Lord again.
Yeah. Zandu will look at him and say, well, I suppose that depends on how you count my age. I wasn't ever really born. But I suppose you could say I'm a day old.
He would pause for a moment and then say, then young one seems an apt description.
I do feel much more sprightly than I did a few days ago, but
You do seem to be of interest compared to some of the others. I have him well enough. Says, glancing around, kind of picking out, that's an Archon, that's that. That's probably some different thing, like mechanically. Oh, that thing we got its template, but like this is probably a warrior who has ascended or something like this. But looking at Zandu, he would not be able to, with the whole day old thing, he would not fully grasp him. So he would be interested enough and say, perhaps as the drinks are flowing in this particular place, you would enlighten me upon your story, so that I may comprehend why you do not like the young one.
It's because he used to be a psychic thing, says the little koala that hangs from his neck. And as this conversation's going on, as this conversation is happening, a little gourd leshy waddles over and makes Studio Ghibli noises that I don't know how to make. Because I've never seen no Studio Ghibli, but they distinctly have a very Irish accent. So I'll let Kate. And
Potato! Potato!
And into this falls a character I didn't get that acquainted with because there was a couple people pivoted characters over the course of this. One of them was Kane's, the guy who edits most of the stuff you see here at Black Dragon Gaming, and best friend of the channel. In falls a dwarf, just kind of pops out of nowhere. Enlightened.
Lands on the gourd leshy, squishes it, it's all dead, and then it reconstitutes. Like, oh no!
That's very close. Lands on the gourd leshy's head. The pumpkin shatters. as one would expect, and it promptly just kind of like grows back, and the Studio Ghibli noises continue. Kane, what are you playing? What is going on?
Sorry.
I forgive you.
Little.
Oh, you're apologizing to the Gourd Lushy. It also forgive
Whatever you are. Yeah, I suppose him perhaps a dwarven man of very stock and stalwart build. He's heavily muscled, but trim. Like he's not like can't scratch the top of his own head muscular. He's got like a lot of like stringy fighting muscle on him, as opposed to work muscle. He's got sort of like the creased, thin hair of someone who all like usually has their hair in a single braid, and he looks thoroughly unimpressed and undisturbed by the scenery around him. He's sort of like he crouches a little when he hits the ground and looks around him, and then stands up slowly. And I mean, if you want to make perception checks.
Oh yeah. Go for it. Make a perception check. You could fumble.
Shoki dokie.
I did not fumble. I got a 35. Thank you.
Ooh, that might be a critical success. Yeah, that's got to be a critical success. DC was at not more than 25.
For what?
For whatever you asked them to make perception checks, King.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
It'd be a 5 plus a 14.
It's not a critical success. Okay, why are they rolling perception for?
That is not. I was looking for sense motives. Well, yeah, the one is literally just a critical success. The other one is a failure. Dark Mantle you can tell this dwarf in front of you is really freaked out by whatever the hell is going on, but he's not willing to let anyone know it. So you sort of like you make out like a couple beads of sweat on the top of his right temple that begin to make their way down his face as his eyes dart around much faster than the rest of his head.
He also seems to not realize he's sprouted angelic wings, the color to match his hair and I assume beard.
Oh yeah, no, he definitely doesn't notice that yet.
Grey Mantle also notices that Xandu doesn't notice.
So Kazakhao, dang it.
You had your chance. You chose to reroll.
So Grey Mantle will simply put his hand on the shoulder of the dwarf and say, "This way, good dwarf. A tankard of mead is waiting."
He might notice that Xandu has a really fancy dwarven war axe. I don't know if we have our equipment yet, but if we do, Xandu definitely has it.
What? Really? I thought you took a scythe. Also, you're the sorcerer. What is
Wait,
this?
Yeah, he's also almost as buff as I am.
Yeah.
So you've totally pivoted Xandu, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, he's like a combat mage now.
I am curious. So, where's everyone's strength score? So I have an idea how buff they are.
20. Oh yeah, after the template, 24.
So you look really buff, like super buff for a dwarf.
Xandu's just too higher than Xandu.
No.
Nice.
Yeah, like Bradley looks like Wayne Reynolds drew him. That's how buff he looks.
Mine is 18, so would be as buff as the iconic fighter.
You are mostly the same amount of. Also, I am curious who would I don't know anything about. That he's a dwarf.
Okay, yeah, Bradley's a dwarf. He's a monk. I picture his build more like Mickey from Snatch. If anyone's ever seen that movie, if you haven't, you should watch it. It's real good. Mickey's like a gypsy bare knuckle boxer. Yeah, he's very sturdily built. Obviously, as a dwarf, but like a lot of it is a lot of it is sort of like that wiry, springy muscle. Springery. He was an indentured servant that was working on a series of shipping vessels, and to help pay off his debt, he fought in a lot of questionably legal arenas that were basically the human equivalent of dogfighting pits.
They're dwarf fighting pits.
Yes, the dwarf fighting pits. Dwarves, the dogs of people.
Well, everybody should love them then, because dwarves should be super cute and like
Man's best friend.
They'll always fish. Oh, you want me to go pick that up? Okay, I'll bring it right back for you.
That's definitely how Bradley sees.
Pardon me while I piss all over your favorite.
It's super cute.
No, cats are elves.
I can't let you do the Scottish brogue because it'll take me right out of my Boston.
Oh, I see. Tommy personal placer piece is active.
Yep, he's right here because he doesn't get along with my girlfriend's cats. Well, he kind of does. Not enough to where I want to leave him unattended.
He'll get used to him. They'll figure it out together. Or they won't.
Achilles understands.
Okay. Xander will be observing the wings of different people now that Grey Mantle has thought it out for him.
Okay, yeah, I guess Bradley's rings are, if they match his hair, his hair is like a deep, I have not been drinking enough to be stuttering like this.
Yeah, that's a qualifier. No.
The important question: how much have you drinking so far?
This is the first Boilermaker. If you don't know what a Boilermaker is, it's either a pint or a can of beer and an appropriate amount of whiskey poured in for flavor.
There's the appropriate amount.
Nice.
All right.
Trying
to ease
Sorry, let me just finish this really quick. He's got this really, really dark brown hair, and it's just starting to go gray, sort of at the roots. And I guess that's reflected in his wings, which are very dark, in this similar coloration, I suppose, to like a northern sparrow, where it's very dark brown and then sort of begins to gray towards the tips.
Okay, fair enough. And Bradley would also, as he makes his way to the table, he sees head of the hall, sitting on two thrones, or whatever good aligned deity he identifies with the most. It's a strange new world where the monk doesn't have to be lawful good, lawful neutral, lawful evil.
It doesn't have to be lawful, and he definitely isn't.
So what is he
probably. The two gods I was going to identify him with was Gorham and Caden Kayleen. But I suppose Gorham.
Yeah, Gorham is chaotic. Gorham is chaotic neutral.
And he seems like he's specifically not as much of a dill hole in second edition as he was in first.
Yeah, it's weird. So his anathemas are not what I expected them to be. It's strange. So it's Caden sitting on the throne, happily swinging his rapier and drinking and swinging his rapier, and it's
Rovagug on the other one.
Asmodeus on the other one. Asmodeus on the other one. It may just be Asmodeus for all of you, except for Joe when he gets it. But it should be soon.
Bird will be hell.
Be hell.
All right. Grey Mantle's trying to ease the dwarf into this new afterlife by directing him toward the alcohol.
Oh, you know me so well.
Yep. The very important question: is there a AA room in the place?
There are several rooms, lots of rooms. The place is actually quite large. You imagine?
Well, is there like a long table full of beverages for the consumption?
Yeah.
Yes, several.
It's kind of like that.
Right. So I'm gonna let this tall gentleman over here with the big swollen brain lead me over to one of them drinking tables.
All right. And he would lead you to an appropriate spot where he had spied earlier coming into the room and set you down and
we'll say this much. We out of the three of us, we got all three of the mental stats going on. Yeah, charisma caster. We got a brainy boy, and then I'm real into it. Shut up, dog.
He says that to the Hound Archon. Shut up, dog.
Shut up, dog.
I'm sorry, Bradley, says the Hound Archon in a voice that Hound.
You owe me $20, Hound Archon.
No, I do not. He puts
You
20,
do.
He puts 20 silver on the table. No, he just.
Oh yeah, I'm writing it down.
But what does happen as you make your way to the table? As you make your way to the table, the Gourdlushy does follow you. Its head kind of swollen a little too big as it's grown back, just continuing to make Studio Ghibli noises. Beep 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 beep.
Hey, Pepe.
Beep 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 beep.
Just say pie, but like put a little mustard on it.
Pie potato. Potato.
Don't actually put mustard on pie though. That's well, unless it's meat pie. I suppose you put mustard on meat pie.
And one thing not to put on pie, it is wasabi.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Would it be hot?
Sushi pie? Just eat the sushi.
Well, unless you wanted to make sure your pie was hot.
What if it was fish pie?
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, then you could still do it because it may be sushi pie.
Well, that's what I'm saying. What if it's fish pie?
Fiji food!
So,
all right, let me at them libations. Oh, I did it. It's happened. I went full Irish.
No. I will. It's not like that. You just gotta weave back around and come down and say, "Boy, you know what? You just gotta get back to the libations."
I could really go for a nice drop of really anything with ethanol in it. It doesn't really matter what it is. There's a puddle over there that's just pure whiskey. I'll drink it. I'll do it. It's been a long day for Bradley Boulder Ripper. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yes, you definitely got really cold and suddenly you woke up.
Yeah, I don't like it. Somebody tried to tell me that I was dead. I was like, no, sir. Nobody kills a Boulder Ripper. It's not possible. My grandfather's still alive. He's like almost 400 and junk.
But is his grandfather alive?
Probably.
And his grandfather.
I don't. His brother says, well, you know, if you go far enough back in the Boulder Ripple line, we're actually Orieds. It's very strange. It's why we're so old.
That is interesting.
Yeah, it's not in the book yet, so I couldn't really tell you more about it.
So as Bradley begins to settle into locations, Gourdlushy, he awkwardly puts his head on fist and as if he were a cat, he boops it. Just over and over again. It's
He starts headbanging on his fist?
More or less, yeah. It's kind of annoying.
You know, you should probably cut that out. I got a pretty hard fist. You're going to dent your little mushy head.
It continues doing so. Just.
You got... Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I stepped on you earlier. I didn't do it on purpose. I promise.
It begins to headbutt a little harder. It kind of hurts a little.
What are you doing? You gotta stop it. It doesn't hurt. I got fists made of literal metal, basically. It's all...
I believe he wants you to smash his head again.
Oh, I get it.
So as you make an attack roll. Do that. Make that happen. Let's do some weird across seasons PvP.
Across seasons PvP.
I'm fighting myself.
Hey, Joe's here.
Auto PvP.
And as Joe showed up, he's cut Colin out of the thing. I have to quickly make a new window. Joe, where's your camera?
My camera's on.
It is? I just see...
No, I see Joe.
I see him.
Why don't I? This is...
For some reason, yours is, like, behind. I think... You're behind.
Yeah, I usually am.
I rolled a 19, plus 20, so 39.
Okay, yeah, that's got to be a critical success. Also, everyone watching at home, we couldn't Twitch. The Twitch died horribly, but we're still gonna put this on YouTube, and you can watch it there. And next week will be on Twitch, and I'll have faster internet, so more than one person can do this, and it'll be great. But you punched the Jesus out of this poor little Gourdlushy's head, and it just it flies off his shoulders as it does so. It expands about yes, Achilles, I'm doing weird hand motion. Fight me. About almost to the size of Bradley's head as it contacts the wall and explodes, and then perhaps like 3 seconds after the gourd leshy's head regrows.
Okay, I'm just gonna say right now that was really weird, big deal. I mean, it's a pumpkin. You've seen a pumpkin before, right? It's like a normal pumpkin. I punched the pumpkin came off. He said it grew to the size of my head.
Would have had to shrunk.
Yeah, it would have had to get smaller. It's either like an ornamental pumpkin or I have a terrible disease.
Terrible. It's not that you're a dwarf. It's a leshy. It's like it's a pumpkin, but it's not the size of like a full pumpkin. It's one of those little cute.
No, it is. If you look at the gourd leshies in the bestiary, that's basically a full size pumpkin on like a little body. It looks like an orange on top of a pipe cleaner. Like it's.
Fair enough. Well, whatever. You get a familiar too, and that familiar retains pumpkin chucking cane. And mechanically, for those of you at home who didn't want to explore the caliber, once a week, because this is essentially Ogre Battle 64, he has a pumpkin head because the character chose to have a gourd leshy, so it can remove its head, drop kick it into Achilles, I'm moving again, into the opponent, and the opponent loses half its hit points rounded up.
Half its current or half its total?
Half its total. Or no, excuse me.
That's a lot.
Half its current.
Bang it!
You tricked me, but I caught you. No. And also, you like I said, it's a familiar caster level equal to your level.
Xander,
I don't know what that means. I'm gonna have to look that up and do math. They got points or something.
Do some science.
Both of your familiars can automatically.
The Bradley Boulder Ripper. Okay.
Both of my
because Colin has Arendelle, and you have Oleg, Francis. You have an awkward story.
Yeah.
Both have an awkward.
That's interesting. So we get to have information that only Arendelle was privy to via Arendelle, and we get to have information that only Francis was privy to via Francis himself in the gourd leshy.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of that, Xander will look at Boulder Ripper. Take a good care of Francis. You got it? And Ken's froze.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know if this awkward silence is my fault or if it's something else going on.
Oh wow! Come on, Kane.
Session 0.75. Alien died. The day.
The internet died.
Flawless. All right. Well, while we're waiting on that, I guess what I'm gonna do is I had to close Roll20 because the internet's being. Where are my physical? Achilles, I summoned the physical dice. Help me find them. Here they are. They're in. Oh, that chair is loud. I'm sorry. I'm trying to hold my butt still, but it's hard. Oh, give me the dice. Ravioli. Ravioli and dice. Evens is Joe. Odds is Donald, who shows up next. I've rolled a 5. All right. Donald's character is the character I know the least about because he has yet to give me a backstory, and as such, he will receive his backstory reward later. But if you would introduce us,
you upped his backstory already. Artorius.
Mm-hmm.
So playing a rogue multi-class wizard, and I chose to change his original background story to be a knight, actually. And for the so for my character, I actually choose to play a the gate
nice.
for a change.
Okay.
Because how knights they are that awesome.
Oh, you're retaining that. Okay, good. That's relevant.
So Artorius would be in the lineup. Am I correct?
Artorius appears.
So
you definitely are. You're a Hell Knight. Are you? Yeah, you're. So there's been a violent coup in Cheliax, and lots of like the Hell Knights that would not convert to worship Sarenrae. Yeah, I know, weird stuff's happening. You'll find more about it later. Viewers at home.
My two tree worships Abadar.
Okay, and that's not Sarenrae, so you were killed for it. Yes, Achilles, you're full.
How nice! I was killed.
And you find yourself in the room like I've described. There are 2 seats at the far end. Abadar sits at one of them. The other one is, I guess it's going to be everybody but Joe is going to see Asmodeus. Yeah. Sitting at the front of the room. You've... My internet has a symptom of the internet, says Joe on my phone. That's what I get for trying to improve myself. Artorias has sprouted... I almost like in the spirit of Mazes. I almost want like dollar bills hanging from the feathers of your wings.
It would be black metallic wings.
Black Friday wings. The IOPC boys get it.
I mean, and then both and the outsiders that would be in Axis would have metallic wings. Or metallic colors for wings.
Yeah, that's fair. I can agree with that. Okay, sure. And you find yourself in the room.
So do I? That is all. That see all the characters here. What would be Xandu, and everyone else?
Make a perception check.
26.
You do. You see a lot of things for sure. You see. You're aware of the wings you have now sprouted. Definitely. You're aware of... you don't necessarily see Xandu be like, oh, that's Xandu! So much as, like, you see a lot of strange-looking people all over the place. Oh, man, I don't know what happened to... Oh, that's somebody's hand. I pooped out Kane. Everything because Kane dropped. That's why. Okay, so I can see Adam's hand up close. That's trippy. Let's close that. That's not here. Goodbye.
Do I see Adam, a character in the room as well?
Yeah, you see him, but they don't necessarily stand out more than anyone else does. Because there's a lot of like, you know, you died. You know what death feels like. It doesn't feel good.
Do I see anyone in the room that have Abadar holy symbol on them?
Let me get my percentage dice. You might. We'll see. That's a D4 and a D20. Those don't help me. Here we go. I rolled a 0. It's either really bad or an off 7. Yeah, okay, never mind. You see Abadar himself, the god you worship, sitting at a throne.
I am going to go up and greet him using his proper title, which I would know as a follower.
Okay. Do you know as a player?
Me as a player, no. As a player, I don't really focus on deities and knowledge all that much, but my character would know this.
That's fair.
Lord of the First Vault.
Yeah, Adam gets a hero point for being amazing.
I'm amazing!
Oh, you are. And why did this window get so huge? Go away, window. I'm trying to do a thing on the internet.
And most of the games I play in, deities are not all much that focused upon. It's just character action, so I never really need to focus on deity knowledge as a player.
That's fair. Okay, Abadar sees you and he nods. Greetings, my child.
I have a question. Something is off. It seems that I am not in Axis with my fellow insert the appropriate adjective for Abadar followers.
Abadaran.
Abadarans.
Man, I'm gonna take your hero point away. No, I'm not actually gonna take your hero point.
Oh, how nice! You're such a nice GM.
You don't get to cheat death on the session where there's no combat.
Anyway, so Abadarans.
He doesn't answer. His eyes like kind of like fade out into the room. He just like in broad strokes, just there out there. If only you look hard enough. Asmodeus says nothing. He looks just straight ahead.
I'm curious. So why are we here, not in Axis? is something bigger going on that I'm not made aware of?
All will be explained in time, child.
Mm. Mm. Well, I'm going to enjoy this respite until something else interesting happens. And Artorias would go to the closest table with alcohol and begin drinking one barrel mead after another.
Sure. And
Barrel.
you guys all see this.
Yeah, when I played Artorias in the 5e game, I played him as a work hard, party hard type of fighter.
Oh, you did, didn't you? Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Grey Mantle is making sure that whenever somebody new pops in, he makes a quick glance up to see when they go up to the thrones, who that turns into.
Yeah, you definitely see it turn into Abadar and Asmodeus.
Duly noted.
And you guys also, you all see this guy appear. Colin is moving in.
What guy?
Yeah, what guy?
Donald's character.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so my character would go to the closest table and drink, so probably with the dwarf.
We'll see. The percentage dice will decide your fate.
Whoa, look at that guy go! He's just knocking back entire barrels, just like old 55-gallon drums.
Well, my
You're dead. You can't die from alcohol poisoning.
Yeah, right? Just caning it off the side of this table. I mean, I would say bring it around, but like clearly there's more barrels. They're just letting this guy drink out of it.
A part of my character backstory, he used to be a miner and a blacksmith, so he can handle his alcohol
And a
quite well.
chronic fucking alcoholic, apparently. Jeez.
Perhaps
Oh,
you
yeah.
should go have a competition with him, dwarf.
You know what? That doesn't sound like a terrible idea, but also it does. Because, like I said, he's just keening that barrel up the side of the table.
Well, have you tried yet?
I mean, how does man combat such savagery?
The drinking contest. Do we have places?
He would place his hand on your shoulder and say, "By being a dwarf."
I mean, okay, you got me there. Hey, you! Chronic alcoholic!
Oh, hello, friend.
I like he didn't know who I was talking to until I addressed him by his title.
Yeah, Artorias, when he's drinking, another side of him comes out. When he's sober, another personality comes out.
For reasons not entirely approved to me, you're gonna get another barrel and we're gonna drink those until one of us falls down and goes boom.
I am going to get 2, and the strongest ale possible.
Alright.
Alright, we're doing this now. It's happening.
Ow.
I don't know who you are, but we're gonna be best friends when this is done.
Oh, me and you, we are going to be best friends for forever. Me and my mining friends back in my hometown in Alphen. We used to play a drinking game of lining up ales and how much we can drink before we passed out.
I think I
Fun
have to
time.
make this a skill challenge.
Fortitude saves?
Yeah.
Fortitude saves.
Fortitude challenge. The DC
I'm gonna
will
kick your
increase.
ass.
1, 2, 3. Yeah.
I'm real good at fortitude.
Better than the road
Yes,
wizard.
the first session drinking and no fist fights yet.
What's before we make rolls, Kane, what do you add on your fourth?
For 18.
Okay. Got it. Ready when you guys are. Let's start with Artorias.
Natural 20, so 33.
Okay, sure. So you automatically pass the second one. You kind of just like grab one. Well, you're a rogue. You're playing a arcane trickster. You like mage hand fountains out of these barrels and into your
I am
mouth.
showing off my mighty magic using power by lifting the barrel up. Oh, dwarf.
The natural 20 automatically passes the second one, but give me one more.
Okay. Another. So 30, yeah.
So 30, that passes. All three of them pass with flying colors. You don't even really feel it. It's just like it goes immediately, not through you. You don't just like, oh, I'm peeing now.
While Artorias is drinking, it is a shame that none of his other friends in the Hell Knight Order is here drinking with him, because some of his more combatant friends would have been out drinking him right now.
Yeah. All right, Kane. Let's see him.
Okay, so Bradley witnesses this like fountain display of like just this monstrous display of internal fortitude. And he sort of like looks over his shoulder at Dark Mantle and mouths the words, "What the fuck?"
Dark Mantle doesn't.
Who is Dark Mantle?
Yeah,
Gray Mantle.
Gray Mantle, Dark Mantle the monster. I'm looking at a Dark Mantle on the ceiling.
Yeah, before it falls on top of you and eats you, as is your destiny.
Gray Mantle would Gray Mantle would not be where you left him. He would actually have tried to go over while everybody else was watching this display and see if the things changed when he came close to them on the throne.
They do not.
You manipulative beast of garbage.
All right, Gabe, let's see him.
That'll be a 31.
Passes.
And another 31.
Passes.
You need a third one?
One more.
Okay. Hit. Oh, that was a 2. Uh-oh. That's 20.
That one does fail. So, for a little while, it is, in fact, the dwarves that go swimming with the little hairy women. And you do very well for yourself. Just as he's, like, showing off, you just pick up the barrels and start downing them. But it's the third one that hits you a little harder than the other two. You don't know what's in it, but you reel back a little, and as you do so, you spill most of the ale, and it's clear that Artorias is the victor.
No.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a thing now.
I would shake Kane's character. So what is your character name, so I can actually write it down?
Yeah, my name's Bradley. Bradley Bull the Ripper, and if you help him up to his feet, he's like, ugh! And he puts his foot up on the seat of the table, then up on the top of the table, and you still got your hand, and he puts it up in the air like, yay, he's so good looking at him. He drank me.
I would lift Kane, Brady Borderlifter hand and Brady Borderlifter hand and mine up, showing off our victory of our amazing drinking duo power.
And several people do cheer at this. Arendelle, who's made its way to like the top of Xandu's head, just kind of like wraps its legs around Xandu's forehead to lean down in front of Xandu. Drinking is bad and they are silly. What is happening with them? I don't understand. Sometimes Arendelle would do that, and he would cast spells, but not anymore because he's no longer a spellcaster. Alchemist 2nd edition. But I don't understand any of it. I am just a little child.
The little gourd leshy leans over to Brad and like, it's gonna get old real fast. And since Francis is now actually in control of the body, he has the appropriate accent.
Yeah, he did it. It comes and goes. Francis, like, the gourd leshy's intellect is not enough to contain it. But it's there. He definitely, the Studio Ghibli noises are in fact sometimes Irish.
No, they'd be Slavic. Remember?
They were supposed to be Slavic, but then they became.
No, that's what I'm saying. Is that since Francis was already a druid, right? When you guys met him,
yeah.
That's why he was Irish, right? Because it was actually a bunch of leshy spirits in his body.
That makes sure. That's boom.
But now that Francis is in control of the leshy body, he's Russian again.
Fair enough.
And like that, I get to whip out the terrible Brooklyn, New Yorker accent and the Russian accent.
All at once.
All at one time, I get to do them.
Hooray! All right, Xandu, Grey Mantle, anything you want to do as this dwarf swings from some random Hell Knight's arm?
Xandu will try to comfort Arendelle. I guess that would be diplomacy.
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, that works. That's fine. Opposed by what is essentially your own will save.
Your own brain.
Yeah, it's your familiar.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. All right, that is a 31, which does break my class DC.
Arendelle hugged, or no, damn, now I'm screwing it up. And one of them's dead now. Arendelle definitely like hugs your forehead with both its arms and its legs and just like.
So it's sitting on his face? It's like
less sitting on his
face
face.
Hugging him?
Yeah, it's definitely a face hugger kind of thing. Just whoop. It can't reach far enough down really. Oh, no, yeah, it can. It's a tiny. It almost. As people see me make awkward hands. Yes. It can, like, it kind of just face hugs you. Suddenly, this is a horror sci-fi game, and alien happens. It's a little hard to breathe. It crosses Xandu's mind that this is, like, the first time he felt what suffocation might feel like, because he wasn't real before. There's definitely, like, Xandu realizes that there's going to be a lot of psychological trauma have to deal with, because it's been a ride to not be a person and then be a person, and to be essentially created to protect a child and have that mandate, just I must protect Emmy, and now that's gone and been replaced with like I am a person now. This is weird.
Later on, I think Xandu's going to take up the hobby of skydiving, but not yet.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
Work through his existential crisis as through dangerous, thrill-seeking means, i.e. adventuring.
Boom! Did it. All right, let's bring in our last man. So when Joe's been patient for long enough, and I've been checking my phone as this goes off because I have Discord shut off on my computer because my internet is being. And there's a pretty bad storm in KC right now, so I wonder if maybe something got. I don't know. It's probably the fact that I just need a little bit faster internet.
The weather is probably playing into a factor on your end.
I'm gonna say that because that sounds better than.
It could be a random router that's down on the ISP side.
Yeah, maybe.
And it's being rerouted through a slower one. It does happen.
Into the room walks a man who's been dead for a little longer. Who's just unmuted himself. I'll let Joe. A House Divided's GM. Better watch it. It's real cool. It wasn't us.
The show that doesn't get played often enough.
That was I watched through that whole thing, and that was the best part of any of y'all's sessions.
Well, I mean, we stopped playing for 10 minutes because we were all laughing too hard, so that's a fair indicator.
Hey man, people like it. It has definitely been a thing. Anywho, Joe, what's going on? What are you playing? Who are you? What am
I playing? I'm playing Helmut of Halloran. He is an old feeder of ravens. He has seen many a winter come. He has killed many a man with his wound hoe. And I can't keep up this voice.
What's a wind hoe?
A wound hoe.
Like, I don't know what that is either.
Wound hoe.
I don't see that anywhere in the equipment section of this playtest rulebook.
It's a hoe that hooks you. You know, it's like, don't hurt me, baby.
Wait. I think I know what it is. I think it is a weapon used by Achilles that the hoe had been used to inflict wounds.
No, he's speaking in Kenning. He said he was going to speak in Kenning for this character.
I mean, do it. Gotcha. I'm pretty sure it means an axe, but
it's really, it can describe any weapon.
Digs through the air like a hoe digs through the dirt to plant the field.
Well, it digs through people. To describe Helmet in a word, he's not the prettiest man. He's got a hard face. He's got a very, very worn face. He's pretty old for a soldier. Though he carries himself well, he's very, very strong for how old he is. He's dressed from neck down in the heaviest armor one can buy. he carries slung over his back this massive maul. It's got lightning bolts on the side of it. It looks like it was probably a gift the way he carries it. He has absolutely no hair on his head. He's either been shaved or he's never had hair. He doesn't have a beard. The only thing that's set atop his head is a little circlet with a hammer on the center above his eyes. He probably walks like someone who's in control, someone who's in power, but also someone who's been dead a long time. What he probably does when he first enters the room is just take a quick scan around the room. I don't know if he's been in this room before.
You have.
I have.
Yeah.
Okay, so I probably still take it all in to see if anything's changed. Note every position of everything in here. Take notice of everyone around me.
Fair enough. And we're a very religious fighter. We're not a fighter who multi-class cleric.
Yeah, we're not a cleric anymore. Yeah, we're just a very religious fighter. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Fair enough.
As my internet is probably going to die.
Okay. We did it.
We did it. We've achieved
terribleness.
I don't even know.
We've achieved peak modern Western decadence.
Crappy internet.
Yes, failing internet. What's going on in there right now? There's a dwarf having a dance with some sort of knight.
Real quick, how much charisma is good? You said it was 18 charisma.
Yeah, he has 18 charisma.
Because I can't give
you wouldn't tell from his face.
I can't give you this if your charisma is bad. I was torn between a creepy rat child familiar, you know why, or another thing. And Helmut has been around for a while in our games. It like I said in Discord when he said he was playing, or no, like I said in the last episode of season 1 of Lord of the Caliber, when he said he was playing Helmut. It's an honor to GM for a GM PC from a game from a long time ago. As Helmut walks in, at the head of this table, he sees on the right side, as has always been, Tyr sits at the head of. You're involved, or you're in Asgard. That's not necessarily Odin's grand hall. That's somewhere else.
Yeah.
Tyr sits at the left. On the right sits, I guess we'll just make it Loki. Yeah, that works. And Tyr, as we know, if we subscribe to Norse mythology, he's missing one of his hands, and Helmut's been carrying it for a while. The memory of the why is a little foggy as you think to yourself that you're carrying this hand. It also dawns on you that your pants might be missing. It's weird. You don't understand why. Joe and I understand why. It was a thing. It happened.
Yeah, Helmut just when he walks in, he stops. He might have it hanging around his neck, which might look a little creepy. It might look a little The Forest-ish, but he kind of he'll reach up and grab it, and then he'll look down.
And as you grab
you'll see he's got his greaves on and everything. He'll just look back up and kind of take a quick just taking everything in again and being okay, everything's normal. All right.
They call me Helmut the Drafty.
Yeah.
This time, as you grab it, it grabs you back by the forearm, and you feel reassurance flood through you, and you look up at Tyr sitting on the throne, and he, not unlike the Norse gods of, I can't think of the name of the movie. It's a really good movie, though. It's on Netflix. We were going to watch it in St. Charles. Kane talked us out of it. What is it called, though? Kung Fury. Not unlike the Odin.
Oh, it's just Odin.
He's just grown up.
That was not what I was thinking when you said, "Oh, it's a good movie with Norse gods."
Hey man, that movie's real good. That's the
I don't think I ever talked us out of Kung Fury. I think I talked you into Kung Fury.
No, I'd seen it 10 times before meeting you guys. That's the best 30 minutes of your Netflix career. Anywho, Tyr nods. Tyr's hand fuses with Helmut's hand. Becomes his own hand. Helmut gains divine grace added to his reactions. That would have been real bad if your charisma was bad. I was gonna give you quiche and fondue fused as some weird double rat folk homunculus familiar thing. Yeah. Hi, Mr. Helmut. You remember. Anyway, that's
we have the same voice as the koala.
They did. That's not a far cry from quiche and fondue.
No, it's really it was basically the same.
The rat folk monks of our past with 22 strings. First edition.
Gross.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It was an accident.
It was an accident. Hi, Josh. Anyway, I digress. The floor is now all 5 of you are here. The floor belongs to you guys.
Okay. Helmut's just going to like stroll around the outside. He'll I don't really have a place to put. Well, I just have my hand on my back, and my other hand's going to be folded across my back.
Okay.
Actually, no. I might have the hand that's fused. I might be like gripping it and looking at it as I walk around. At the same time, I'm probably also keeping my eye on everything else around me.
Also,
being dead 35 years is
and you've been a half
very wary of things.
I don't know how the wings work in this mythology. Yeah, I wonder if you wouldn't just fly magically.
I think I would fly magically.
Okay, there you go. Boom. Because you're not a Valkyrie.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I have a question. If you've been carrying this hand around for 35 years and you just put it back onto your stump, did you? Is it all wilty? Is it like normal hand size, or is it like a monkey's paw? Like,
I imagine it probably looks like all wilty.
Yeah.
Probably have one creepy hand.
you got like a Droger hand.
He's got that Scary Movie 2 strong hand now.
Yeah.
Take my strong hand.
Take the strong hand.
Oh no!
Godhead.
Oh, the early 2000s. The days of my youth.
Back when a joke was just a joke.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Anywho, you guys all see this man up here. He looks a little more. Everyone looks comfortable in the room. He looks a little more like he belongs. Anything else?
Greymantle will take note of him because he does not have wings, and will. Would it be something that Greymantle would be able to understand his symbols and his faith, and who he saw the things change into?
Make a religion check. This is uncommon knowledge. That's actually relevant. We did it.
I rolled a 16, and I add 11. And no, I add 17.
I love how none of these are going to be small numbers, like no matter what, because of the proficiency bonuses. It's like I rolled an 11 plus 40.
Yeah, that's fair. You might not grasp the subtle nuances of elfin mythology, or excuse me, not mythology, because this is a setting where the gods definitely are there. The elfin pantheon. But you recognize it. Even the hall kind of feels a little elfin in nature, which is very, very foreign for the guy who's from Northern Garund. You've read a little, you've heard a little. You'd heard a lot of people when Galarion was freezing over talk about Fimbulwinter. So it tracks.
Okay. Mental note made.
Okay, so I don't know how about you guys, but I just drank 3 entire barrels of mead. Not like little ones, but like big ones. So if we're gonna do something, somebody should come get me and him, because I'm not going anywhere.
With my character being multi-silver, I would help Bradley Boulder Lifter up on his feet and move.
Boulder Ripper.
Boulder Ripper.
He just lifts him. He doesn't rip him.
My name's Bull Ripper. Bull Ripper.
Bullwinkle.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bullwinkle.
My name's Rocky Bullwinkle.
Rocky Bullwinkle.
I am Moose as a squirrel. A squirrel for me.
Bradley.
Something I think you really like.
I am Bradley. I'm surprised that you are feeling the alcohol. I thought you would have had been able to handle your alcohol slightly better.
As you guys are having this conversation, the gourd Leshy begins to look up. The mustache appears across his gourd self and a weird, like, poofy hat. I forget what the villains look like from Rocky and Bullwinkle, but they were definitely.
Sasha Boris.
Yeah, Sasha Boris. I thought you were gonna go for fucking Snidely Whiplash.
I don't know who that is.
That would be Dudley Do Right.
Yeah, I always go back to the Laugh Olympics for some reason.
Good, I'm happy for you. I don't know who that is though.
Well,
he's so young.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dang it, Tommy! Make everybody else feel old.
I'm older than most
Except
of the people
for
in the
Colin.
call. You're literally the only person in the call who's older than me. I think. Donald, how old are you?
24.
I'm 27. Yeah. Okay, we got it. We're good.
How come? What's your excuse? You're not knowing about the Laugh Olympics. You never got up on Saturday morning to cheer for Captain Caveman because you were at your grandparents' house and they don't have public access television.
Nope.
Captain Caveman.
I did watch some Captain Caveman on Cartoon Network, and now
I finally figured it out. I just have to do my Jan-Tran voice, and that's the name I'm constantly locked in.
There you go.
So, Xandu will be taking note of Helmet. Does he recognize anything that Ulfin that might remind him of Enderling?
Make a check of some kind. For you, it's probably just a perception check.
Yeah, I was gonna say
you've been around a little longer.
He's been around.
Well, I mean, everybody's been around. Like, it's not like you literally were born yesterday-ish compared to like everybody else who's been around for longer.
I don't know so much what you mean about being around longer, because I think most of the people here may be probably older than him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Helmet,
Probably.
if we take into account how long he's been dead, has been alive 95 years.
Yeah, and Bradley's 74.
Oh, you're still all so young.
We can't help it that we live forever in the kingdom of whatever to shut the hell up.
That would be a 28 perception.
All right. It dawns on you, you haven't really thought that much of it last week, or Lucia or Pope, for that matter. Kazaha was here for a little while, and then he left. Francis is definitely occupying the body of that gourd Leshy, but like, he's not really capable of much.
Yeah, it's real demeaning.
That's what you get for not playing him.
Yeah, you missed it because you cut out, but Xandu did tell Bradley to take good care of Francis for him.
No,
I didn't hear that either.
That came through for me.
Yeah, I'm saying Kane couldn't hear it.
Oh yeah, no, I did not.
But like,
Wait, is he like important to you or some junk? I mean, I'll look after him, I guess. And he's never had a garden before.
Francis takes offense at that.
He would
He begins flailing. Well, it begins flailing its little leshy arms into your gut. Not unlike when a child is angry at an adult and tries to like punch the adult, and you put your hand on its head to stop it from being able to reach you, and it just flails at you.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of cute.
Yeah.
You did it. You went back to Irish.
No, shut up. It didn't happen. You can't prove that it happened. It's not recorded or nothing.
It is. I'm still recording. Just because the stream died doesn't mean I'm not recording this.
It's not recorded or nothing. You can't prove it. Won't hold up in court of law.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
Anyway, to answer Xandu, there's definitely like some stuff tracks, towards the end of your time with Enderling. There was a lot of talk about Tyr, and you understand a little bit better than a lot of people in the squad about how the Elfin Pantheon works, because Verizia is like right there. You're literally just a little south of the border. There could be some kind of relation, but that's like saying somebody were to go to like. It's awkward because in this setting, Verizia remained a Chelish colony forever. But like to go to like Ustalav, say,
yeah,
and then like, oh, that must be related to Xandu because it's Verizian, that kind of thing.
Okay, no, he was more so just looking to see looking to see if he recognized any Ulfin stuff or if he just is oblivious to it.
You definitely like the man is Ulfin in nature for sure. He's a very big man. Also dropped from the wall, so he can't really speak to it. But he's not small. He's definitely dude looks pretty Ulfin.
Gotcha. Where's Grey Mantle right now?
He would have drifted back over to you guys before the drinking was finished, after he finished his experiment.
Where'd you go? You were my good luck charm. You left, and then I got too drunk.
Oh, I apologize. I did not know that a dwarf would need my help.
They do go swimming with the little hairy women.
Well, you know, sometimes you don't do so much drinking when you're an indentured servant on the ship. It's mostly drugs.
That's good to know.
It's very different. It doesn't go through your liver. It goes through your brain.
Duly noted.
It's why I talk like this. You know, I didn't always used to talk like this, but I do now.
I will keep that in mind if your accent should ever change.
Right?
Oh.
Sometimes it slips back through and I talk like how I used to, but mostly I talk like this now.
There we go. Now we have an in-game thing that you can...
With Artorius lifting or keeping Bradley bound so he doesn't fall, he would introduce himself to Adam's character.
I feel like we're sort of hanging off each other at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, true. I would imagine us two characters being two drunks keeping each other balanced.
Bradley's a lot shorter than you, but Bradley's also real strong. So I think we can figure this out.
Yeah.
And almost bolted to the ground.
Yeah,
so
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Artorius would keep his balance pretty good and give you a bow. I am Sir Artorius the Blackhound. Nice to meet you.
You know, being drunk's real awkward when you've only had wings for a couple hours.
Yeah, right. That's why I'm not trying to fly in, John.
that's relevant.
You have wings now.
You have wings, yeah. You don't notice you have wings until you're drunk and you look behind you and you're like, what's that? What's that? And it's like a dog chasing its tail for a little while.
You jump, and the instinct that's been ingrained into your head now kicks in, and you flap a little and achieve a little bit of lift. And
I have wings now. Awesome!
Whoa! What do you mean you got wings?
Yes.
When did those get there?
I drank this powerful alcohol, and these wings grow.
Oh, that's what happened. We wasn't drinking just normal mead. I got to that third barrel, and I knew there was something wrong with it because it made me feel bad. And that must be what happened. You drank it, and you didn't feel so bad, but you got wings.
Yes.
Did I get wings? I drank it.
Yes,
too.
yes. Look, you have those wings of yours, and say the color they would be.
Yeah. Ah! Oh, they're growing out of me. Oh, what is that? They're both just like drunk, falling over each other. Like, what is this? Ah!
Xandu is going to attempt to sort of fly around and get used to it.
Okay, I'm going to pop open my core rulebook and see how flight even works. We're not supposed to have that. What's going on?
I think it's maneuver.
Feats, spells. It's somewhere in combat.
It's an acrobatics check.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's acrobatics.
Make that acrobatics check then.
It's an acrobatics maneuver.
I will actually make a acrobatics check to fly drunk.
All right, you're taking a bit of your DC is higher, Donald, because you've been drinking.
Yeah. So.
Skills, acrobatics.
Oh, natural 20.
Yeah. 26.
All right.
And natural 20. So 39 minus the modifiers.
Maneuver in flight. All right. So Xandu, what does Xandu get?
What do you mean? What does he get?
On your
26.
26. Okay. Yeah, Xandu's able to figure it out pretty easy. he's had a week to mess around with them, and he's able to achieve lift and fly around. There's definitely outsiders and humanoids. Well, excuse me, outsiders and native outsiders of several persuasions flying all around the place. Artorias natural 20'd, but is drunk. So I'm gonna say he can't critical success it, even though you wouldn't get that much. But like, you're also able to fly, but it's real weird. You definitely almost upend a table. To say nothing of, how does Bradley feel about this? Who's like, you guys are holding each other up, and Artorias is taken off.
Sorry, I just got back. We're flying.
Artorias is tempted to fly.
Oh my! Whoa! What kind of roll is that?
What do you want to do about it?
Acrobatics.
What do I want to do about it? Well, he's flying. I'm not gonna step all over his steez, man. Like that would just be rude. Can I athletics this?
Sure, roll athletics.
I'm gonna outfly him.
Sure.
Oh, beautiful relationship we have here.
18 plus 19 is a lot.
Math is hard. They said they'd make the math simpler in second.
37. They made the math less involved, but the numbers are just as big. It's 37.
That's fair. Okay, sure.
Just so people watching at home, it is an acrobatics, not an athletics check to fly.
I'm doing it with my athletics because I'm good.
He's better.
It's neither to fly.
Yeah, I'm real good at sports. I'm not so good at trapeze.
So what happens is
with Artorias, he flies like a graceful dove, flying around, and he does the loops. Whereas when Bradley does it, it's more angry.
You kind of you grab Artorias' leg and swing up a little. No, you're doing an athletics check. You just kind of climb up his back, just jump off his shoulders.
Haha, nerd!
As all of this is going on, okay, Joe's back. We don't have to have drunken flying contests anymore. I wanted to wait for Joe to get back before we advance the plot of the game. Okay, so all of you are directed by Abadar or Desna or Tyr or Caden or a lot of people, depending on whose perspective.
It's really odd for Grey Mantle because he sees them all at the same time and they're just overlaid on each other like a bad Photoshop.
Yeah, pretty much. Like a bad face swap that keeps trying to render. It just renders real bad every time. Anyway, they direct you to the front of the room where a map has been displayed. That map is in your all's hand. Not on Twitch because I was unable to stream because my internet is. But it's on YouTube. There it is. The map has
Where is it?
Several points marked with a couple of swords across it.
Oh, I see.
As you guys approach, the gods you see or may not see, they change form into basically what Grey Mantle sees all the time, just like a little, almost like a blue and a red will-o-wisp. Hey, wait a minute. You guys went that whole game without using the Flute of Summon Will-o-Wisp. Hold up. I can't let that stand.
I'm sure it's in Xandu's bag.
That was your Christmas present. And Will-o-Wisps are in the playtest. You still have it. You can do it.
I think Paul had the item the entire time.
And Xandu realizes there's a flute. He knows it will summon 3 Will-o-Wisps as Krampus Nacht will happen still. They're CR6 as they were in First Edition.
I thought our whole thing was we get the cool blessing from Tolk.
Nah, you got the Flute to Summon Will-o-Wisp still. That was way too fun. And the RNG was too much in your favor that day to not keep that around. That was an amazing session. Anywho, the map is displayed before you guys. If anyone wants to make checks or anything, they can. The blue orb and the red orb say nothing.
Okay.
So are we?
I don't know what's going on.
So where are we exactly?
The head of the room. The front of the room.
Okay.
We are not on the map.
With my character knowledge being a Hell Knight, would I know what some of the conflicts are at the moment in Chiriax where the symbols are on the map?
That would depend on your trained skills, because now that's definitely a thing.
I actually have lore Hell Knight.
Okay, fair enough. You can roll that for sure.
So is Artorias an Order of the Gate Hell Knight? Or...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, order. Yes.
Could you bring me up to speed real quick on which order that was?
Oh,
I think that was the one that prevented like summoning that could go awry. Isn't that right?
It's the orders that prevent crimes happening, dealing with outsiders. So it's more of a behind-the-scene Hell Knight order to make sure everything is safe.
He's like a supernatural border security guard.
Oh, nice. Fair enough.
Yes. Yeah. So 32.
Okay. Does anybody else want to roll anything while we're here?
I mean, Zandu already rolled for the map.
How about Helmut?
Helmut has war, warfare and society.
Warfare would work.
All right.
I have lore labor.
Yeah, I have a lore Hell Knight and lore blacksmith.
I'm not actually. Bradley's not actually trained in religion, even though it is a signature skill for me.
What'd you get?
Helmut gets 24.
24. Okay, so you guys, both Artorias and Helmut can put together a lot of places on this map. Definitely, like Artorias specifically recognizes Agorian, the capital of what's now being called the Holy Chelish Empire. Artorias remembers just kind of out of nowhere, the emperor was assassinated and a relatively minor noble, Procus LaCroix, took control of the entire empire, seceded from like the protectorate status with Taldor, converted an empire of devil worshippers to Sarenrae worship, and you died because you refused to convert. Agorians marked on the map, as well as Corvosa, which it's just kind of a border settlement. You know, the LaCroix family has a fortress there. The patriarch of the family sometimes goes there to hunt both Verizians and like the local wildlife. You guys also would recognize, and anyone would recognize, the Ark of Eridan, marked essentially again like the Strait of Gibraltar between North Africa and Spain. It's that same idea. Helmut would note that it's not uncommon for elfin men, elfin women too. Everybody can kill in the name of the Holy Chelish Empire for lots of money. And not every elfin's okay with this. Some of the elfin definitely see this as like a betrayal of what it means to be elfin, a betrayal of like your own personal honor, things of that nature. And there's been a lot of fighting, specifically at the Ark of Eridan, forever and ever, as like elfin longships will sail against Chelish man-o'-wars, and it's been a stalemate forever and ever. You guys also definitely recognize Opara. Casimir kind of escapes you guys. Well, no.
They've got me.
I've got you, yeah. And Greymantle would definitely recognize Sothis as he's looking at the map, like without having to make a check. The capital of Assyrian. All of you recognize, even like it's kind of uncommon knowledge for Helmut because it's the other side of like, I don't worship the core deities, I worship the elfin pantheon. You'd all recognize the Pit of Gormuz has been marked. A random forest in Ustalov that makes sense to no one. The Verduran forest, which you guys all know is like a major. That's where all of the lumber in the empire comes from. What you assume must be a town on the coast, which Zandu could identify easily as Casimir.
So,
I do have a question. Is the Ruby Prince Comet still in Comet the Third still in power?
You would, yeah. You're Pharasman. This is super relevant for you. It wasn't long before you died. That just kind of
Double Joe.
Double Joe. Why are there two Joes and no who died?
It's a double shot of Joe.
Double shot of Joe and no shot of Colin. How that happen? How we do that? Where's Colin? Oh, Colin.
I just reconnected.
Weird. Colin, where's Colin? There's Colin.
Oh, it left.
There's Colin. He's there. He's still here. I just have to. God damn it! It fixed itself. Now who have I cut out now? Adam. I have to not play with OBS during this. I'll put Adam back. Everyone can watch me be inept. Anyway, you would know that it wasn't that long ago in Geb there was a necromancer, and that necromancer just kind of came into a lot of power pretty much right out of nowhere. And as he did so, he began conquering the western parts of Garoon from Geb through the Manoace, next Katapesh, Osirion, into Thuvia, a little into the Mwangi Expanse. Joe died. Goodbye, Joe.
I'm back.
Oh, then who died? Kane died. Too many of my friends are dying. Anywho, the Ruby Prince. The Ruby Prince is no longer in power. It's a very powerful necromancer.
So, my knowledge would be that Rochadum is the only bastion of unnecromantic stuff.
Pretty much.
In Garund.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from delving into the Mwangi Expanse and stuff like that.
Yeah, the Mwangi Expanse is pretty inhospitable to everyone. There's a lot of major empires in play right now. They pushed it because the armies of Expedition and Hell Knight colonists in Sargava they've never come back.
My character would at least know how dangerous the Mwangi Expanse is.
Yeah, you'd probably know that people have gone there and they don't come back.
So, Xandu will look up at Desna.
Okay. Again, Desna's not there. It's simply just
a
little blue orb.
At the little blue orb, then. But he'll still refer to his Mother Moon.
Okay, sure. Can everybody make a will save for me?
No.
Well, please do anyway.
Yeah, one second.
And you fail. You fail automatically. So what?
Woo, baby. 32.
At 27?
Okay. These numbers are a lot higher than I expected them to be for level 10.
Getting to
Helmut Iron Will, so he gets expert in will. So
getting to add your proficiency and then the expert master bonus on top.
Only 25.
That's pretty good. Those are big numbers. Those are a lot bigger numbers. I'm really
21.
And Bradley fails because he's not here right now.
Boom, boom.
Boom, boom. So all of you guys kind of black out. Just as these two orbs begin to reach out with their consciousness to your consciousness, you guys find yourselves floating over what must be Galarion in some kind of weird flashback kind of thing. Everybody knows they're not in their body and they're having a weird out-of-body experience.
This probably feels normal for Xandu.
This is the most normal Xandu has felt all week.
It's just a normal day in the life of the psychic projection. So I'm sad. I'm real sad Kane's not here for this, but we're gonna move forward. Sorry, Kane. Forgive me. He's still at my con.
He has died.
He has died. Rip Kane. You guys see what must certainly be the planet itself being formed. Lots of powerful things and gods you guys would all recognize as most of the gods of the core pantheon fighting each other. And then that all kind of fades to white. Then a lot of things Grey Mantle understands it. Cleric automatically understands that he's seeing what the core deities have, they interpret as the beginning of the world when Asmodeus and his brother emerged from the seal and began creating things. And you see that, the blue and the red will-o-wisp floating about the material plane, creating life as we know it. And life as they do it way, way, way back when. And amongst this, they create not the other deities. No other deities spring forth from the seal, except for one. And that one, all of you can identify, because this one has an actual form. It isn't just blue light, red light. As the goddess Sarenrae. Sarenrae, almost Kane made it just in time to catch the rest of the lore. Hi, buddy.
This is ridiculous. Everybody's falling away.
Everybody's falling away. So Sarenrae, it's not long after she begins existing that she falls for... I'm going to mispronounce it. I don't know how to pronounce the original good god. I think it's Ys. Ihys. Sue me if I got it wrong. I'm going to say Ys.
Ys is fine.
Falls for him, and it makes Asmodeus really jealous, and so Asmodeus kidnaps her. You guys see, what should have been when, in the point of the timeline where there was a big war, and and Asmodeus kills his brother, and Sarenrae gets real mad and then forgives Asmodeus. And instead, in that place in the timeline, what actually happens is Asmodeus kidnaps this like burgeoning imperial lord, more or less, is the power of Sarenrae at this time, and takes her to what would become hell. Asmodeus's brother, like, just beset with grief, follows her to hell and arranges a deal with his brother. And basically what goes down is Ys asks Asmodeus for his lover back. Asmodeus agrees, but only if she will like use her divine powers to create the lower planes. She does so, and as she like in the process of doing this, she also creates what you guys all know as Abaddon, where the neutral evils go when they die, and she creates what Xandu definitely recognizes as the fruit of Abaddon. These, like, it's about the size of a pomegranate, and it pulses on a tree that also pulses with like veins that come up from the ground where its roots are into the entire tree. And in the process of doing this, she herself becomes cursed. And to prevent this cursed god from becoming a threat to everything that we all know on the multiverse as like life and liberty and existence, both Ys and Asmodeus realize they have to imprison her. And so they do so, and you see this happen in what you assume and have known forever and ever to be the resting place of Rovagug. It's actually the resting place of Sarenrae. Yeah, Achilles, I know, it's weird, right? Humanoid kind doesn't quite understand everything that's going on, and so to prevent, like, yes, Achilles, to prevent the multiverse from falling apart in holy war, both Ys and Asmodeus agree to like manifest themselves as the various good and evil gods that you guys all know and may or may not worship. And life just kind of moves on. Then everything kind of like moves forward to what you guys, the players, know as the events of Season 1 of Lordly Caliber, and you see a lot of like men in Hell Knight armor don Sarenrae's holy symbol in the place of Asmodeus's, begin like drawing forth holy power after consuming what again Xandu recognizes as the fruit of Abaddon. And it dawns on Xandu for sure. Everyone else can kind of put it together, but Xandu gets there first because Xandu kind of has main character status. Not really. That's a terrible way to say it. Xandu just knows way more that these guys, they worship Sarenrae, but they don't worship Sarenrae, what essentially like the cosmic good has projected as Sarenrae, so much as Sarenrae, the actual Sarenrae that's imprisoned.
Poor Kazaha.
Yeah, poor Kazaha.
Yeah, he would have fell right here.
Yeah, I
right
know.
about here.
Yeah, he would have.
You
didn't want to play him though. Nah.
Good. I'm glad. Gets to live on as a good paladin.
Yeah.
With his lover in eternal happiness.
Yeah, that's fair.
You mean the flying car?
Oh god, yeah, that's here somewhere.
They definitely,
that.
if ever they get the chance to go back.
My true love, my Mercedes Benz.
The important question: with the end of the world, is the Mercedes still in working order?
Yeah, no, it totally works. It's here. We had established. Artorias understands this a little more than like everyone like else in the party would, like, as they're putting it together and saying it's like, oh, that's why that's happening. Artorias understands this is why his nation like threw off the shackles of eternal damnation, eternal power as devils in return for what they're advertising as the blessing of the goddess of redemption and the sun and stuff. It's just basically a power grab.
Interesting.
And so
good.
I'm really curious as to, so would they have manifested as Pharasma as well as the neutral deities? Because you said just the good and the evil deities.
They would not have. Pharasma is still Pharasma. She has a very important role in everything.
She probably falls somewhere in that cosmic existence of once life exists, so then must death type thing.
Yeah, more or less.
So what
she
about
came about with the first life being given, the first death being inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
So what about Abadar? When did he came into the timeline?
Abadar, the lawful neutral and chaotic neutral gods are awkward. They kind of Abadar exists, but he doesn't exist quite as you understand him. He exists more as the lawful good side of protect the people who trade with the other people, propane and propane accessories. I don't know what hangs up. It seems appropriate. And on the other end, the Mazes Deckers. I maintain he's gonna go lawful evil, but the people who abuse taxation and trade laws and things and extort the little guy for their own gain.
He's basically a manifestation of ice, but in the lawful realm.
Yeah, more or less. By that same notion, who's a good chaotic neutral? Gorum. He's awkward now.
Oh, I thought Achilles was chaotic.
Gorum is chaotic neutral.
Right, but
you can't just be chaotic. I mean, as much as one might assume you could be chaotic. It's not actually an option.
It's not.
No, it's chaotic
neutral.
Yeah, Gorm's chaotic neutral, but his anathema feels very almost lawful good. Don't kill prisoners. That's his.
No, that part feels good.
But
that's just because
it makes sense. Because if you're fighting for the sake of fighting, you shouldn't kill prisoners because they can't defend themselves.
Yeah, there's no fight to be had.
There's no sport.
So the chaotic good aspect of Gorum would see something like that, like the Klingon-esque honor and glory, whereas chaotic evil is just punching people with their great sword for the sake of punching people with their great sword.
Well, I don't like that they say you can't use negotiation at all as a Gorumite. That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's weird. That's super.
No, you can negotiate. You just can't prevent conflict with negotiation.
Gorumites.
The point of negotiation.
Gorumites can negotiate with each other. It's just another form of negotiation among warriors.
Yeah, it's kind of like Star Wars Episode 1.
Yeah, I punch you, you punch me, and whoever stops punching first loses.
So you guys are brought back into your bodies, and the figures that you now understand to be the true Ys and the true Asmodeus just kind of hover around you. They say nothing, though you realize they certainly must be capable of speech. And all the the points on the map begin to glow.
Grey Mantle would look at them and say, "This has answered nothing about Fimbulvinter."
Can I make a? Can I put together the dots? Why they are glowing, or any hints like that? Would a intelligence roll work?
Give me a religion check, and we can all make those. It's you just D20 -2 if you're not trained.
Okay, 31.
Are you trained?
Yes.
Oh, you're a rogue. You're a skill monkey. Sure.
Yes, rogues get. The way I made Artori is he have every single skill at the class skill due to racial feats and being a rogue.
Ooh, nice. That's super sweet. I like that. Okay, so you begin to put the pieces together, and as you do so, both Ys and Asmodeus kind of send their conscience at you, and you see a lot of kind of familiar faces amongst the Hell Knight orders, as well as a cat folk and a strange man with tentacles for a mouth who botches speeches and becomes the emperor, and all these other people that you only kind of recognize in passing that you know to be the Colliginous Order, which is a Hell Knight order that polices the other Hell Knight orders. They're the boogeymen of the Empire, essentially. They seem to be the ones at the heart of this. They seem to be the ones that are pulling all the strings. They're the ones who've got their hands on the fruit of Abaddon, and they've been spreading them. And in doing so, and using all of this, the power and stuff to answer as, Grey Mantle's pulled into this as well, Serenor is beginning to wake up. several religions exist in the multiverse and have different thoughts about how the universe was created and how the universe will end. The Ulfin believe that years of winter, brother will kill brother, the sun will be eaten by a wolf, everything will die and be reborn again. Like I said earlier in the session to Xandu, people that worship the dragon gods believe that Apsu and Dahak will fight, and their last battle will happen on Galarion to determine the fate of everyone caught in the crossfire. Essentially, the dwarves have their own opinions, the elves, yada yada, etc., etc. They all kind of just like, it's like seeing different parts of a much bigger picture, essentially. And Sarenrae's awakening is essentially bringing on, much as like the core deities would say that like Rovagug being released from Rovagug's prison would end existence. Same concept, just replace Rovagug with Sarenrae.
Xandu is curious as to which gods actually exist and which gods are just manifestations of another god.
Make a religion check.
Oh gosh. The DC is going to be so high. All right.
You can't necessarily, as easy as it is to critically fail skill checks, as Octarian learned in the last episode of Broken Universe, like attempting a skill check you don't know how to do is a recipe for failure. This time it's not necessary.
Oh, you succeeded.
Yeah,
you succeeded just fine.
I got a little buddy
who you now have to pay a copper piece every day.
I'm fine with that.
A copper piece?
You know what?
Ooh,
About the
that was a
copper
good
piece
roll.
every day, I'm pretty sure we can renegotiate that deal after we rescue him from slavers.
You know what? Yeah, we can.
That's a 31.
Okay, so Xandu's Desnan, much like all of Colin's characters ever, and also like Vermisian's. And it dawns on Xandu that Desna, as you understand it, never existed. It was just another manifestation of Ys. Religion in the multiverse, religion in even the setting of Pathfinder has always been very tangible. People would pray to gods and they would receive a cat. They would receive blessings. You will receive one cat.
Per
There
prayer.
he is. Yeah. Thanks,
That's how
buddy.
you become a crazy cat lady.
Yeah, I am. I did it.
If,
I have 3 now. I had 4,
Yeah,
but my
I
dad wanted to
can't-
keep Tassiger, so he
I
wouldn't be
call
like
in.
Anywho. You realize that the scope of religion, the scope of gods, is much big. Shut up! I will destroy you. Much bigger than how humanoid life understands it in the multiverse, in such a way that like one god is simultaneously a billion gods. It's just the level of humanoid perception that they wrap that together.
Yeah, I guess Xandu's just wondering which gods have an existence of their own.
That's Ys and Asmodeus.
And apparently Pharasma.
Because Pharasma's kind of, she's the...
And Sarenrae, apparently.
Sarenrae is just an imprisoned Imperial Lord with a lot of power. Pharasma exists as sort
created
of
beings. Yeah, if you're asking about creative beings, it would go Ys for the good of any type, Pharasma for the neutrality of death, the inevitability of death, and then Asmodeus as all evil, just manifested in different ways.
Pretty much, yeah, you get the idea.
Interesting.
And any kind of neutral, any kind of mixing of those two theologies would then be the alignment of the two consciousnesses, intentions, affecting and materializing.
Yep, Adam's got it. That's pretty much correct.
The cleric,
Of course, the cleric has it.
Yeah,
the cleric got it.
Cleric has it.
The real life and non-real life cleric got it.
Yep, pretty much. So this map continues to like blow before you, and Artorias, and even like if Artorias shares information with the party as I murder my cat who will not shut up,
I
you
would
realize that like these must be important points in either the Colliginous Order's plans to bring not resurrect her, but to awaken Sarenrae and achieve ultimate power, or something that could stop it, or something that like plays a role somehow.
I would tell the party all this information, but any hush-hush secret information that Hell Knights should only know, I would not tell the party this knowledge.
The only information that Hell Knights should only know is mostly like the existence of the Colliginous Order. Yeah, that's not necessarily secret so much as you guys don't let it out. It's like a Who Watches the Watchers.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I would hint at a bigger power is in play here, and they are definitely a threat we should watch out for.
Xandu definitely is aware of the collision, because you guys had dealings with him.
Yeah.
The judge that you once thought was the man who had convicted you for all these crimes and sent you to prison in the very well-crafted backstory, tore in half.
Yeah.
To make Xandu.
And I'm so happy you did it too, which is the weird thing.
It's weird how that happens, isn't it? Anywho, like, you know he's a member of the Colliginous Order. You know when you guys took Qadira, which still, as far as you know, looking at this map, seems to exist as its independent nation, separate from a Taldor that had conquered pretty much everything. Like, they had tried to induct General Hassan in Qadira, and it didn't go well, mostly because Francis wrecked him, mostly.
I did do that.
You did. I was there. It was gnarly. Viper vines are really good.
Did it?
So, with all this glowing stuff, map things, Daniel is curious about the random forest way up at the top there. And he's going to touch it, see if he teleports there.
You definitely, like, a gate opens very close to where you are. As you touch it, you see a very dark forest with you expect to see snow on the ground, you don't. It's just kind of like dark pine trees. The sounds of woodland critters begin echoing forth, as well as a strange. I had to like run up and down the party. Speaks Druidic, a strange chanting that Xandu might recognize as Druidic.
Well, technically, the Leshy speaks Druidic.
But he doesn't say anything right now.
Oh, okay.
He only has it sometimes.
Ghibli.
Just enough to studio Ghibli in Irish.
Potato, potato, potato.
Potato, potato.
Pie.
Francis does get a little, you guys, the Vine, excuse me, not Vine Leshy, that's a PC. The Gourd Leshy does get a little, like, excited. Set. This gate opens.
There's a gate opening. What's the gate opening to?
Which I'm going to examine the gate. So would it be knowledge? So anything related to portals into? Would it be planes?
There's no planes. There you can use arcane. You can use arcane or occult, or lore planes.
I keep looking over at my other character sheet, which I've printed out on the table for Xandu stuff, and it's not right.
Yeah, I am used to having a skill for everything, but now with a lot of them group up, I have to remember what is for what now. So yeah, I will use knowledge occult. So 21.
It's definitely a portal to, like, you can all put it together because Xandu has touched the marking in Ustalav. Like, that's definitely where that will take. We'll go to Ustalav. The gate itself appears to be one way. You kind of get the feeling that, like, the gods aren't talking so much now. That, like, East and Asmodeus, they just kind of, like, float around. You assume other people will be doing other things to prevent these things all over the multiverse, truly. But this seems to be like the actions you guys can take, and well and truly that they seem to have chosen you for to prevent Sarenrae's awakening. And something in Ustalav can do that.
I would explain how the map works. So where do we want to go?
Xandu will touch the part near Varisia up at the top of the Holy Challenge Empire.
It opens into the streets of Corvosa.
Streets of Corvosa. Do other people see the portal, or just like do people in the street see it, or are there no people?
They do not. They just continue. Most of the people in Corvosa are slaves, as like Varisia is well and truly under control of Chelish, and it's like the favorite hunting grounds of MacLeod, LaCroix, and Xandu and Nevis. So it's people are taken as slaves, people are taken as slaves and then turned into undead, people are taken as slaves and then fed to his hunting dog, and everything in between.
Ooh, Xandu is itching for a little bit of revenge.
And Artorias would know who MacLeod is as well. He doesn't, like, minor noble. Something happened once with an assassination attempt that he got blamed for, and the family fell on hard times until Procus LaCroix was made emperor, and everything got crazy.
Artorias wouldn't like the man. He couldn't do nothing legally to get him into court, but now things are different. Potentially, if he plays his cards right.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm so much worried about court. You know what? I got the same kind of bones to pick about revenge with you. You know, I ain't never gonna wear that harness again. I'll tell you that much right now.
There you go.
So many short slaves in Lord the Caliber.
I know. That's what happens when you're small. People take advantage of you. It's just life.
It's fair.
Xandu will walk through the portal and hope the others follow.
Okay.
I will follow.
That's why I'm big enough to lift a wagon over my head. That's why no one's ever going to do that again.
Xandu.
All right. It looks like what's going to happen is the first mission will take place in Corvosa. What's going on here is you guys can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then there's one more. Remember, the Pit of Gormuz is a place that you can go to. It's just not on the map of the Inner Sea. And
that's final boss. We all know that.
It's not final.
Yeah, no, it's not final boss. See, what all we do is we just die again, and we all make paladins, and we're like a Pit of Gormuz, right? That sounds good.
There you go. You've done it. But what's going to happen is each one of these represents a different level in the playtest, and if the playtest goes into 2nd edition, we'll just errata into 2e. You guys will be level 10 until one of these is completed, and you've chosen Corvosa. So Corvosa is first. When you complete Corvosa, when you've dealt with MacLeod LaCroix, you'll go to level 11, pick another place, etc.
So
I like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. As they're all traveling through, Grey Mantle would be the last one to go in. He would look over at the lights, and he habitually keeps his hands behind his back. So he will walk with his hands behind his back to the mouth of the portal, look at those, and say, I will be in communication with the Grey Lady, should you need information. And he will walk through.
And as you say this, the sand in your dagger kind of rolls around. Also, the dagger is enchanted equal to however much because you had a dagger and you'd taken... War Priest is not the name of the feat, but that's the effect. So I imagine you have a dagger with some stuff. If so,
+2 expert quality.
That's
the
Grey Mantle's dagger.
Grey Mantle's dagger that he bought.
Okay, this one is equal, but also functions as an arcane bond.
Okay, I don't arcane bond as a wizard. Okay, I gotcha.
So you guys.
Oh, okay, I don't know what it is as a wizard. Sorry.
It's literally +2 expert dagger that gives him extra spell stuff.
I was going off a level thing because when we were picking treasure, the highest quality weapons we could generally get access to were +2 expert quality.
I see.
So the one that he bought was a returning dagger. So
that one's also returning as well. And as you step through, the sand and the ruby kind of rolls around. Again, this is your memento mori. This is your remember you must die, except you have died, and eventually you're gonna go back. This is Pharasma's real not happy with the undead, and this you're a step up from undead because you cheated death.
I didn't cheat. I was called, and she gave permission.
Yeah, that's like a whole different thing. Like when someone's like, "You're not allowed to die yet," Pharasma doesn't get to be like. You get to look at Pharasma and be like, you know what, just take that to your PTA meeting with you, and it's what you should do.
Fair enough. You guys arrive in the streets of Corvosa. We have like 10. We're gonna keep running with it. Make a perception check, squad.
Cool.
28.
Okay.
Dang it! I'm looking at the wrong sheet again.
28.
Hooray.
What time of day is it?
We'll get there.
29.
29 as well.
I'm also noticing everybody rolls basically this. Game, you got anything for me?
Sorry, what are we rolling? I get bits and pieces, and then like my internet
Perception.
I get back. Perception.
Yeah.
All right, I do got a pretty good wisdom, so I might do all right. I gotta remember that I'm in a PDF. I'm not in the internet tab anymore.
Fair.
Plus 18, 28.
Fair. You guys all basically the same thing. Well done. Well done. Okay, so
Well done.
you guys arrive in a back alley in the street, which is like you instantly realize as you sit down that that's an amazing thing because you all have become half Celestials. You stand out really hard.
Can we hide the wings?
Still.
You would need to find some mechanical way to do Helmut, not a
Xandu has a greater head of disguise.
Yeah. Why does Helmut get to cheat it off?
That's fair. He does get the cheat. Okay, so he looks very angelic, but has no wings, and he will be conspicuous.
We're close enough. We're close enough to the land of the Lunar Kings that I'm probably known here.
That's also fair. Yeah.
He's only been dead 35 years.
I mean,
He's only been dead 3.5 decades. Anybody who know him is also dead.
yeah, I would imagine in
Corvosa.
seeing people in Hell Knight armor is not exactly a common saying.
Seeing people in Hell Knight armor is very common. Again, this is a Chelish colony.
Okay, well, the Hell Knights have like not jurisdictions, but like they have regions where they're common. Do you remember where the common region for Order of the Gate is, Donald?
It would be at least in Goroni lore. It would be Mount Isaac. Or I really should look.
Google it. Order of the Gate.
I would just point out Helmut may have been
Western,
35 years, but he spent
Western
40 years.
It would be Western
Cheliax. Got it. What are you saying, Joe?
Okay, Helmut may be dead, have been dead for the past 35 years, but for 40 years he was a general in the Thaneland army, and he only lost one battle, which was all it took. And Adam is gone.
He's back. There he is. So you guys land in a back alley in Cheliax in Corvosa. It's middle of the day.
I do have a question.
Go for it.
With all of the hubbub about those, the Saronite War and crusading and stuff like that, Pharasma being the neutral deity, is her faith oppressed, or is she just like, well, everybody's like, well, that's something that has to happen regardless?
Everybody dies, man.
Everybody dies.
I mean, I would say that some people might recognize like a passing resemblance in Helmut, but like if someone walked down the streets looking like Abraham Lincoln, I would be like, that guy looks like Abraham Lincoln, not holy shit, it's Abraham Lincoln.
Okay, so Grey Mantle realizes that even though people are dying and with or without their consent being sent to the Bone Ship to like prepare for Ragnarok and all the other places they might be going and stuff, they're still going to the right places. So Pharasma's cool.
So if I walk around with my holy symbol out, being someone who has traveled within these empires, I would understand that I'm okay to do that.
Yeah, that's fair. You're a pretty common religion. It's the wings and the more powerful than everyone else kind of things that will be what people register.
I'm gonna have to pretend to be
a problem.
Tommy, was my character disguising himself? Could I easily pretend or be a plainer blooded outsider of
That would be worse. That would be like you're a half celestial to pretend to be a full celestial, given everything that's going on. It will just draw more attention. You could. I'm not saying you can't, but like the consequences are bad. Anyway, you guys arrive in the middle of the day. Nobody's there except like a couple of zombies are wandering. Weirdly, you don't understand why this is happening, but they're wandering through this back alley, and one of them, like as you manifest here, you kind of just like there's a faint boop, and you manifest. It turns around to regard you. It's not hostile. Neither of them are. They're clearly like the local workforce. It's a very like old, decrepit polyglot, which means from the Mongi Expanse man. It kind of like it cocks its head in undeath just to regard you, almost like as if it's waiting for orders, and then like nothing immediately issues forth. So it just kind of turns around.
That's not what that word means, though.
What word means?
Polyglot.
Yeah, that's definitely an ethnicity.
Multiple languages.
Yeah, that's what it means for us. But polyglot in Galarion means.
I know it's someone from the Momangi Expanse is polyglot. I just find it weird that they would use an act. Shut the fuck up! I find it weird that they would use an actual word like polyglot to be like, here's an ethnicity. They know many languages.
Yeah. It's a Luddite. I think that actually isn't the. I think I've been screwing that up. Polyglot's the language they speak, which is also that's
also confusing.
Yeah.
Well, they speak a mixture of all different types of language.
So rather a Mwangi man who Xandu. It kind of looks like if Xandu was about 50 years older.
Yeah.
If Greymantle sees this, which he probably will.
Yeah, you definitely see it. There's 2 or 3 others.
He would remember that he said he was born yesterday. He would see the look on Xandu's face, and he would kind of guide him by his shoulder and have him turn around, and we'll go the other way, and says, best for the youngest to not have to deal with the eldest problems.
Are you talking about the zombies here?
No, yeah, just the wording. Best for the youngest, not have to deal with the oldest. No. It's so the duality in that statement. Oh, it's so good. Shut the fuck up. It's so good.
Xandu definitely wants to kill other Xandu just to set him free, if for no other reason. Set his soul free.
You gotta be quiet. Okay, yeah, you can definitely do so. There's no one watching.
There is,
except for the Pharasman and the Ulthan guy and the Hell Knight and the dwarf. They're watching.
I mean, the Pharasmans hate undeath, so.
Oh, he does. But he also knows that if you kill the undead, it is very, very likely that it will be felt by the one controlling the undead. And then we will all have to deal with somebody killing the workforce that provides for said necromancer, which is really what we want to get to, rather than just one undead. But he doesn't say all that. That's just what he's thinking.
But Xandu does not have mind reading on him right now.
Yeah,
that's faded off by now.
Go ahead, Donald. What are you saying?
What is on Tori's mind as he speaks? If we need to be very careful how we're going to be dealing with MacLeod LaCroix. If we kill any of the undead servants, he will know we are here. So
if you're trained in religion, roll it. You're not trained in religion. You're trained in
23.
Okay, and you're 23. 19 from the Serenite. 19 from the Pharasman. Anyone else?
7 from Helmut.
Alrighty. Okay, yeah, all of you, even the 19, who's very, like, I like to kill zombies, because I'm Pharasman, you all realize that these undead are not under anyone's control right now. They're free-willed. It's, you imagine there's some other kind of means of keeping them from just killing everyone and wandering aimlessly as the undead are wont to do. But it kind of... This NPC was a 1E NPC first, so he can have a lot more undead under his control than 4 in 2nd edition. But these appear to not be. These appear to just be, like... They're definitely the workforce, but they're just kind of aimlessly wandering. You don't think you kill it.
If that's the case, then yeah. If that's the case, then he didn't want him to do it also for his psychological benefit, but
Xandu is definitely clutching at his axe. He's ready to deal. No, his axe.
Oh.
Hold on to your butts.
Helmut's going to point at the zombies and just shout "out" at them, like commanding them to leave.
All right, they do so.
And I'm going to intimidate, which is a 36.
They do so. They didn't even take the intimidate check. You issued a command and they.
I'll turn back to the others and I was leaving megatomes for those to find.
In my experience, it's best to keep a low-key profile when it comes to...
I say, after I shout at the top of my lungs.
Yeah. Well, Colin, anything you want to do about this?
Ooh.
Achilles, he's my buddy. He's loud tonight.
Xandu knows how important Xandu, the original Xandu, was to Emmy. And he can't just, like, we're in a big city. With probably full of lots of undead. We might not see him again.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, Xandu is first going to cast False Life on himself to grant himself temporary HP.
Sure.
And also that triggers Spell Striker, so his...
What does that do?
Yeah. His,
Magus.
+2... Yeah, basically. His +2 Master Shifting Frost Dwarven War Axe becomes a +3.
Okay, fair enough. That's cool.
Nice.
Spell Striker is 2 words. I've learned that because kind of Control F it is 1 word. Nothing in this.
Yeah. And, Xandu is going to go up wielding his axe with 2 hands, and he is going to swing at the other Xandu.
Okay.
Easy.
Make that attack roll.
Oh, man. Helmut's going to yell at you. I've got to.
No!
Yeah, Artorias would yell at Xandu, stop.
And that 20. I can tell you.
All right. Okay, so what?
On an intimidate check.
Just
stop right there. Oh,
He was just blowing yesterday.
Welcome to die, you fucking fool.
Okay, so would you succeed on an intimidate check to demoralize? I guess is what's going on here.
I'm coercing.
To coerce. Okay, so.
I think I have a feat for that. Hang on.
Oh, here we go. PvP at the end of the session.
Yeah, PvP versus the
No, yes. I actually got rid of that feat in favor of the War Axe.
Oh, good job.
Darn it!
But I yelled at him about stopping right there, you overeager spear carrier.
And there you go. Yeah, it's you agree to follow his directives. Your attack stops short, so long as they aren't likely to harm the target, and Helmut's not likely to harm you in any way. You continue to no more than a day. So
now the question is, can he even coerce during my round? Because that's a separate action.
We didn't roll initiative.
Fair enough.
But it was a critical success. So Xandu is too afraid to retaliate against Helmut, and I guess that's how we. Does anyone else want to react to anything that's going on?
Well, don't I get a will save against that, or no?
Well, he got a natural 20. You can go ahead and roll.
Oh yeah.
You could natural 20 as well. I don't see the dice.
I thought the will say was just versus my.
Oh yeah,
I don't see the dice. Just lie. Just lie and say that you got a 20.
It's versus a DC. Yeah, you don't roll it.
Yeah, so it's versus an 18, so he beats it on the dice anyways.
Fair enough.
With Zandu being stopped in his tracks, I would put a hand on his shoulder. Zandu, if you want to kill the zombie you so much, we can kill him after dealing with MacLeod LaCroix.
And Zandu suddenly remembers that he has he's got a familiar which can cast divination.
That's fair.
So
Nice.
he realized that he can come back to him later at the end after killing MacLeod.
That you can, yeah.
You guys are really high maintenance.
And that's the note that will end the session on.
Grey Mantle will say to the dwarf, most of the younger races are.
The heck is Grey Mantle? What are you?
He's a full-blooded elf. He's a big uppity. He's so high in his own smell of his own farts.
Yeah, he's an elf that you don't know the age of at the moment. So.
I'm guessing like 140.
Not quite. I know the age. I've seen it. He's got a good birthday. The day before.
160.
Nope.
129.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We're sorry the stream didn't work. Well,
137.
hopefully it works next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. And go check out the IOPC because they're like 40-ish subscribers away from Zandu. Guy, do you want to say it, Achilles?
158.
What's Colin going to run over at the IOPC? That's right. Yeah, he's going to run
He's going to run a one-shot.
Yep.
And if you don't subscribe, remember, we can't be friends. Anyway, that's all we got. Say bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
Bye.